All right, everybody, welcome in to the Rant. I am Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios North. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, around about noon o'clock, 12-ish. Had really hoped to get a hard noon start for you today, but things went a little squirrely here just as I was kicking off the show. Let me see. I don't like that I can't see that. All right, that is not for air. That was an internal thing that I should have just kept to myself. Hi, let's say hi to the chat room. Everybody gets a big Heidi-ho welcome once we start. First person in today, Maddie Catania. That's right. Happy Monday, she says. Happy Monday to you. Taronda. Taronda's almost always first in. I think Maddie's going to be a bit of competition. I think that could be a problem. All right, let's see here. Oh, look at this. Who's this? What do we think this is, guys? All right. So this is a new one. This looks like it's one of them ads. This is Parafox. He says, "Hey, bro," which is good because he knows I'm a bro. He says, "Hey, bro, I'd love to support your journey. I can connect you with a top Twitch streamer who streams to thousands, has 3 million followers, and earns big. He helps streamers gain organic viewers, active chatters, and loyal fans who donate, gift, and sub. If you," and then what? It stops? Is there nothing more? There's nothing more there? Because that sounds good. Sign me up. Do you need my credit card? I'd be happy to give it to you. How about my social security number and my banking information? Nah, that sounds like a very nice offer. It's just we live in a very suspect world. And when a stranger who I've never seen in this chat room, which has been in existence for 4 years now, 4 years, when a stranger pops up, saying, "Hey, bro, I'll help," a guy like me is going to be a little bit sus. A little bit sus of this. That's okay. Contact my people. All right. Who else do we have in the chat room to say hi to? We've got, well, that's good. Look, let me tell you something. It's a sign of growth. Once the bots and all of that, once they look, I am happy to see it. I'm happy to see it because it means that somebody outside of the 20 of us who gather here every day, somebody outside of us is actually, taking notice, and that can't be a bad thing. Peter's here. I said hi to Peter, didn't I? Peter, my boy. Peter and Kim. Hope you had a nice weekend. Taronda is here. Maddie is here. We've got Barney here. I think I saw Adam in there somewhere. Byron, there we go. All right, we're all coming together. Come together. By the way, come together. Speaking of, I saw the greatest here. I could show it to you right now. I saw the greatest tweet the other night, actually last night. Here, look at this. Hold on. I'll show it to you. It's a feel good little tweet that we can start the day off with. I don't know, feel good for me. Hold on, let me find it. I tweeted a lot. I tweet a lot, man. It's like, oh, I just tweeted that last night. That'll be easy to find. And then come to realize, oh my God, I've tweeted like 50 million things since then. All right, here you go. Check this out. I was saying, come together. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. How cool is that? Just like 3 folks sitting around. Hi, our dads were in the Beatles. How cool is that? I thought that was a cool tweet. This is, of course, Julian Lennon. Julian Lennon. You can see a very John Lennon-esque look. Over here, you've got Sean Ono Lennon, also very John Lennon looking. Look at this. First of all, you can tell they're brothers, right? And who's this hot redheaded babe in the middle? Why, that's famed designer Stella McCartney. So you got a Lennon, and a McCartney. Let's make some music, kids. Come together right now. Not a single Beatle child ever went on to do anything of note in the music industry. Not a single, well, I guess of note. How are we defining of note? Because Julian Lennon had a hit song in the 80s. Thought that was going to be a big career. Liked it. Ever since you've been leaving me. Remember that, huh? I've been wanting to cry. I don't know, how's that? But it's just, there it is. Hold on, I got the hook. But it's just too late for goodbyes. Yeah, Julian Lennon had a hit. Wasn't great, but whatever. It's earwormable, I suppose we can say. Maddie says, Stella, love her. I didn't know I loved her until I saw that picture. She's got some prime Lindsay Lohan lookage going on. She's a good-looking woman. But then, of course, I mean, why wouldn't Stella McCartney be a good-looking woman? Her father's Paul McCartney, the cute Beatle, if you will. And then her mom was Linda Eastman, who was a pretty tall, thin American blonde. She's going to be pretty, probably. Guys, I'm filling time here because, what a weekend. Oh, what a weekend we just endured. Doing the show every day here at noon from the studio, I love this. Might be, it is my favorite studio that I've worked from. I love the setup that I've created, and I love, just that I can come somewhere. Anyway, point is this. Studio is awesome. However, this show runs on your tips. This show runs on gratuities. I'm a bartender, and what I serve up is hot takes on current events and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm serving. If you are drinking, I'd encourage you to leave a tip. More on that later. But in order to do that, I got to work a lot of bartending shifts. I just can't work the noon shift Monday through Friday. I got to be able to, like in the early days. You remember the guest house days? The first 2 years of this show, we've been doing this show every day, Monday through Friday, around about noon, since 2021. Originally, it was at the guest house. And I liked that because, I had a room where I lived, and then there was a living room, and then we had a little studio room. And anytime that, something big would happen, I could jump on. And I could be like, okay, all right, we've got some breaking news. Because, I'm a breaking news dork. I got all the alerts on my phone. I get all kinds of alerts for everything. I know when something big is happening pretty quickly. I'm not going to say first because someone's got to tell me, and that's typically scanner traffic. But, I'm on stories pretty quickly. And I was on stories pretty quickly this weekend. I was on. Now, the only story that I completely missed this weekend is the horrible situation that occurred in Australia, the terror attack at Bondi Beach. And we'll talk about that, and we'll obviously get into that one. That one occurred like at 4:00 in the morning, our time. So I was asleep. But man, whether you're talking about the Friday night, was it Friday night where we had the Brown? Yeah, Friday night was the Brown University. No, Saturday afternoon. It was Saturday afternoon, the Brown University shooting. That's when all of this started. My alerts started going off. Brown University, Ivy League, fancy school, rich kids, good kids. They had a shooting, so we'll get into that. That's a wild story in and of itself. I thought when that was happening, I'm like, well, I know what the first hour of the show on Monday is going to be, but not so fast, because I woke up Sunday morning with all of these alerts and all the headlines screaming about what happened there in Bondi Beach in Australia. Holy crap. And, a terrible thing that really kind of made me uneasy heading into Sunday afternoon football, which I didn't need. Now, there's a video out there. It's an 11-minute long video, and it shows from beginning to end the terrorists who attacked the Jewish gathering at Bondi Beach in Australia for Hanukkah. And it plays it out from beginning to end. Well, not beginning. You missed the first couple of shots, obviously, because the dude who recorded it had to go, what was that? Right? So, but my God, we see everything. And I don't know that we're going to watch the full 11 minutes, but we'll watch some of that, and we'll talk about the bigger question, which is, guys, I'm going to go off today. I've spent the last couple of hours this morning trying to figure out how to release what I feel inside. How I can't articulate it. I'm not that smart, but maybe through emotion and passion, I can get it through. But I want to talk about the Jews. What is going on? Why is it all of a sudden like the 1930s again? I got to be honest. A whole bunch of my friends are Jews. I don't ever think that they're Jews. I don't imagine that I think that my friends are Jews any more than they think that I'm Irish. Although maybe they might think that a lot, because I front load with the whole, hey, I'm Irish now. I mean, I don't understand how all of a sudden the Jews are back in the barrel. I'm growing up. When I was growing up, it was the Russians and the communists. They were in the barrel. then, I guess you can make an argument that the poor, impoverished Americans, whether they're African American or any other minority class, you can probably make an argument that, oh, they've always been in the barrel. Yeah, but we take them for granted because they're always in the barrel. It was communists. They were our enemy. And then came the Arabs, right? The Muslims. They were in the barrel. And then we didn't really, what are they going to do? They can't fight back. They can't be a long generational enemy. At some point, we'll just take over their little fucking sand trap country. So we moved on to each other. And, I like to go on and on about this, but that's what it is, man. In the absence of an actual fucking enemy for us to be afraid of, human nature has to have somebody that they're angry at. So we've turned on each other. So I'll get into all of that. Then last night, oh man, it was a good day of football for me, with the exception of the fucking Cowboys. I'm not that upset about the Cowboys. Hold on, let me see something really quick. There we go. Okay, sorry. So the Cowboys kind of, upset me, but I'm not that upset about it because I look, did the Cowboys lose to every team in the North? Did the Cowboys lose to every team in the NFC North? Did they? Because how did the Cowboys lose? I was really hoping the Cowboys could make a run here and we could have the Cowboys be relevant, but it is December and I should know better. The fuck, JJ, you made 9 look. How's Dak's completion percentage, though? Has he got a good-looking completion? Oh, no, I'm not going to take it out on Dak. It ain't Dak's fault. It is not Dak's fault. I actually like Dak, and I hate anybody who shits on Dak. But football was going great for me yesterday, and then I was getting ready to jump into the new season of Landman. That was my plan for Sunday night. I'm like, okay, I'll watch football. And then after the Cowboys game at 10:30 or so, I'll watch an episode. I'll watch episode 1 of the new season of Landman, which I love. Who doesn't? That's a great show. And there was around about halftime of the Cowboys game, I think it was, when I started to get, these alerts about people. So that's when the Rob Reiner thing came across my board last night about halftime of the Cowboys game. Actually, I think it was one of these weird underground news sites that I saw on Twitter, because I can't watch football without Twitter open. Like, I've got to be on the I got to be on Cowboys Twitter when we're watching Cowboys games. I got to be on Bears Twitter when we're watching Bears games, that kind of thing. So I had Twitter open, and I saw this thing from Intel Incent, which I think I'm saying that right. It's a really good news gathering group. And they're small and they're underground, and they mostly do news about, like, I became a fan of this Twitter feed when the Ukraine war broke out, because they seem to have on the ground first, reports on things that you then saw echoed by the CNNs and Fox Newses of the world. So anyway, they're a good source, and they were the first one to report to me last night around halftime of the Cowboys game that 2 bodies of elderly people had been found in the Brentwood home of director Rob Reiner. And that caught my attention. I'm like, honestly, you want to know how I reacted to that right off the bat? And I guess, why not? Let's just start talking about it, because that is our top story. Top story today is the passing of Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner and his wife here. I'll just, hey, guys, I don't know if you've heard, right? I guess I'm not breaking any news, but let me just give you the story here. Rob Reiner. Hold on, I'll pull it up to the top. This is wild. Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Reiner of 40 years or something, 39 years. They met on the set of When Harry Met Sally, which is incredible. We're gonna spend, look, if you've heard it all, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about Rob Reiner, because that's a complicated dude. Okay. So the first big chunk of the show is going to be how this all played out, what happened, what the history is there. And we're going to talk about some other things. We're going to talk about who is Rob Reiner, right? What was he? What was he to people? Because Rob Reiner is a different person to a bunch of different people. hero or monster, whatever it is. So we'll get into all of that complicated stuff, and I hope the chat room plays along because I want to talk to the chat room. Okay, that's right, Adam. Thank you. I'm sorry. Adam Reiner helped me out here. I said, did the Cowboys fucking lose to the entire North? But no, that's right. Thank you. And how can I forget? Because that's the reason my Bears are in first place. Famously tied to the Packers. I would have preferred if the Cowboys had beaten the Packers, but whatever. At least they didn't lose to the Packers. So thank you for that. Well, those ties come in handy. When you're chasing a team and they got a tie, that really comes in handy. I'll tell you. We're going to talk football, too, because I got a lot of Cowboys takes, certainly got a lot of Bears takes, and I also have a lot of around the league takes. So we'll get to that at the end of the show. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I do need to do that. I need to shake my fucking can because that's what we do around here. We shake the can. The show exists 100%. Why? Because you people are nice enough to support us. You support us with tips. You support us with likes, shares, forwards, right? Look, I understand the economy is terrible, and I'm seeing that as the show returns, and people are not able to do what maybe they once were, and I don't hold that against anybody. Everybody is welcome here. But if you can't drop a little something monetarily to help this show keep going, here's what you can do. You can help the algorithm on this show. And you can help the algorithm really on my socials too, which help the algorithm for the show, which means, and how is this? Because, I guess people don't understand this. Everything that I tweet, would you please like and forward? Just that's it. That's all you got to do. I know that seems like a lot of work, but it is truly the least you can do to support this show if you enjoy this kind of talk radio for normal people. Just everything that I tweet, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok, which I'm not. Well, I guess you can't tweet on Twitter or on Facebook or TikTok. You know what I mean? Guys, that's honestly how it helps. That's how Twitter starts to recognize it. That's how Twitter starts to forward things. So if you could just do me that solid. Every time you see an alert for this show, it's not that you see it, just click it. Click like. Click like or forward. Forwarding is great. Any kind of independent promotion that you, the Fabulous 15, can do now, especially now that the monetary, it's not something that a lot of people can help with. You can like everything that I do. And I know that sounds like, geez, Pugs, he sounds like a narcissist. No, it's not about that. I mean, it is kind of, let's be honest. But it's about the algorithm. It's about Twitter recognizing that this is an active account that gets engagement. That's how Twitter. So please help out if you can. Twitter, Facebook, wherever you see anything from either Pugs and Company, Radio Misfits, or just me, Pugs Moran, please help us out. Thank you. And as always, if that doesn't work, we do accept cash, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This show accepts cash. So please help us out. It's been a rough transition back in here, but we're doing it. We're doing it anyway. All right. So now let's go through the Rob Reiner stuff. Rob Reiner is dead. Rob Reiner and his wife are dead. Rob Reiner and his wife, it looks like they're dead because their son, Nick, killed them. Which in a weird way, how do I articulate this without sounding like a monster? In a weird way is better than what I initially thought. And I don't know if I'm alone. I don't know if I'm alone in what I initially thought. Kept my fucking mouth shut because, that's what people with a little bit of fucking discipline can do when they have a thought, a hot take that maybe doesn't age well. Maybe they know that it may not age well, but he and his wife apparently were killed by their drug addict son, Nick. My first thought was it was political. It was my very first thought. Because there was nobody who was more articulately liberal in Hollywood than Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner was probably, I'm trying to think. of a bigger liberal voice in Hollywood. And not just, who tweets the most. I'm talking about the voice with the fucking stripes. All due respect to Kevin Sorbo and Scott Baio, but they are nothings. They are forgotten D-listers from a bygone era. Rob Reiner is a Hollywood icon. Generational Hollywood icon, if you want to factor in his father and that influence. So Rob Reiner is a big deal. My initial thought was that, oh my God, this is a Paul Pelosi situation. One of these fucking crazy lunatics killed him. Oh, here we go. Here's the answer for Charlie Kirk, because tit for motherfucking tat, right? Especially when you hear, when I heard, the first thing that I heard was that 2 elderly people were found in a home owned by Rob Reiner. That was it. That was the first bit of information. Police are on the scene. 2 bodies have been found. 2 elderly bodies have been found in the home of Rob Reiner. So do you know what I immediately thought? I immediately thought, is Carl Reiner still alive? Is Carl Reiner? Is it Carl Reiner? Could it be his dad? Because Meathead's not elderly. But I guess technically he's on the low end of it. So I moved on, found out very quickly that Carl Reiner had died a couple of years ago. And I was like, okay, well, wow, look at that. Pull up Rob Reiner's Wikipedia page. Holy shit. He's 78, I guess. I guess that is it. His wife was 69. Michelle Reiner was 69. That's not elderly. Then it slowly started to trickle in. I mean, there were millions of people saying millions of things. Nothing was being confirmed by what I would consider to be a confirmable source. And what is a confirmable source to me? Here's what a confirmable source is. A news organization that is deathly afraid of being sued for slander and is protective of a reputation that they may or may only in their own minds have. CBS, the Tiffany Network. Yeah, I'm looking for them. I'm looking for them to confirm it, not Bob from Kenosha on Twitter, right? All right, Bob from Kenosha might say something, but, I'm going to wait until the New York Times echoes this, because the New York Times is afraid of being sued for shit. Bob from Kenosha is just an anonymous bot. So slowly we started to see information from sources. I mean, look, when People Magazine is the source you look at and go, well, I mean, it is a legacy source, and they do know Hollywood. That's like, honestly, in these kinds of situations, I know we like to be snooty about what we consider to be our recognizable sources. But if it's a Hollywood thing, dude, if it's a Hollywood breaking story and TMZ or People Magazine are saying something, it's probably true. Probably true. Why? Because those people actually have boots on the ground everywhere in that place, unlike CNN or Fox News or whatever else, where you know what I mean? So when TMZ starts saying shit very early on, I took notice, because TMZ was the first legitimate source to identify the bodies as Rob and Michelle Reiner. Let me give you the story. We'll give you this. Well, actually, here's the story as it sits today, okay? It was, however, and credit where credit is due, very early on, before 10 p.m. Before 10 p.m. last night, Central Standard Time, it was People Magazine who rolled with, they were killed by their son, Nick. People Magazine said they had sources, and they fucking do. Because you know how neighborhoods and things are connected. And by the way, this neighborhood is this Brentwood neighborhood where Rob Reiner lives. Oh my God. I mean, it's like perfect for Rob Reiner. Everybody, all of his best friends live within walking distance. His daughter lives across the street. Billy Crystal lives kitty corner. Larry David, his other best friend, lives on the block behind him. Incidentally, it was Billy Crystal and Larry David shortly after who identified the bodies for police. We've got I've actually got video of Billy Crystal and his wife. Here, this is pretty heavy shit. Billy Crystal and his wife walking back from Rob Reiner's house after identifying the bodies last night for Los Angeles police. Here, I think this is TMZ. Yeah, it is. Here we go. And there's no sound, but Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner have been best friends for over 50 years. I mean, of course, Billy Crystal's breakthrough, the movie that made him more than just a crazy comedy guy, was When Harry Met Sally, which was a Rob Reiner film. Boy, and there's some other things. There are some things going on about Rob Reiner that, you know, I'll for the last 5 to 10 years, whenever I saw Rob Reiner, I probably didn't pay attention to it because I thought, oh, he's just going to be doing some liberal politics or whatever. So I didn't really pay attention to him because that's kind of became his thing. He became an activist. He became a liberal voice from Hollywood. I mean, and that is, for a lot of America, the absolute worst thing that one can be, right? I don't know. There you have it. That's Billy Crystal and his wife walking back from identifying the body of his lifelong friend, Rob Reiner. So he has probably become best known to a great many people. I bet you that there is a large portion of America under 30 who only know him as someone that they have been told to absolutely hate and embody what the Hollywood liberal is. But he was more than that. We'll get into it. He was more than that. He is somebody that, 500 years from now, there will be things that he created in his time here that will stand the test of time, is my point. A lot of them. A lot of things. The Princess fucking Bride. Spinal Tap. That shit ain't going away. That's timeless. Generation after generation falls in love with those stories. That's something. That is something. With all due respect to the aforementioned Scott Baio and Sorbo, they ain't leaving that shit behind. Rob Reiner was probably the biggest A-list liberal voice in Hollywood. Rob Reiner's son, Nick, has been arrested following the deaths of his parents. He's being held on $4 million bail. Rob and Michelle Reiner were killed in their Brentwood home yesterday. Here are some notes. These seem to be breaking as they develop. So it's not like a story. It's more of like bullet points. Nick Reiner has been taken into custody following the deaths of his parents, Rob and Michelle. Rob and Michelle were killed in their home. We already did this. Before he was arrested, People magazine reported Nick was being questioned by the Los Angeles Police Department's Robbery Homicide Division. So that was the other thing that sort of triggered my interest. So here's how it played out. So bodies found, elderly. It's not Carl. I confirmed that Carl was dead. Then we moved on to, well, this is quite possibly Rob Reiner. Then in my mind, I moved on to, oh my God, is this another fucking politically targeted attack? Then what happened next? Then my next thought was murder-suicide, because here's the thing. I was following this closely, and when you look at the initial releases from authorities, whether they be the police or whomever, you have to really look at every word, because those things, they don't make mistakes on the initial public, press releases. They don't make those. They choose every word carefully, and it said in the first one that Los Angeles homicide police were on the scene. Los Angeles robbery homicide were on the scene to investigate the homicide. Singular. So I took from that, I was like, wait, robbery, homicide though. They say they're investigating a homicide, singular. We've got 2 bodies. Wouldn't that be multiple homicides? Why are they saying singular? So right there, I went murder-suicide. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they worded it that way, because to them, at least in the initial investigation, it looks like a murder-suicide. But then I was confused by the burglary. I'm like, Was this a break-in? Why is burglary and homicide in the LA Police Department there together? Well, that was explained in the press conference because they've been combined. Apparently, Doge made its way to Los Angeles, and now there isn't a robbery division or a homicide division as apparently there once was. Now it is a combined robbery homicide division, and the first live press conference from police outside the Reiner home yesterday made that clear because other reporters had questions as well. Why is robbery there? Then People Magazine said they were murdered by their son, Nick. No, I'm sorry. First TMZ said that it was Rob Reiner and that they were murdered. Knife wounds is what the first TMZ report around about 10 o'clock last night said. Knife wounds. Whoa. Okay, so this is probably not murder-suicide because you don't do that with knives. And I was thinking guns, too. I'm like, man, wouldn't that be wild if Rob Reiner turned out to have a whole bunch of guns? It wasn't guns. It was a knife. And then shortly after that, little piece of information, People Magazine put out last night around 10:15. People Magazine put out that it was Rob Reiner's son, Nick, who police were questioning, which was very strange because then about 20 minutes later, the police held their first live press conference, which I watched, and they gave us absolutely nothing. See, do we have that anywhere? I don't know if we need to see that anywhere. Do we even need to see that? No. Let me see, what else do we have? All right, let me go back to the story here, find some more details. Nick Reiner has been taken into custody on the murder charge following the deaths of his parents. Rob and Michelle were killed in their home Sunday. Sources previously told people that they were found by their daughter, Romy. Romy Reiner is Romy the one who, two of the children live in the Brentwood home. Two of the Reiner children. Fully grown. They're both fully grown. They're both in their 30s. Actually, I think one is like 28, and I think that's Romy and somebody else. Across the street is Rob Reiner's daughter from his marriage to Penny Marshall, Laverne. So, okay, so that is not Romy. Romy is, I believe, the one who lives in the house, and Romy is the one who found the bodies on Sunday. I might be wrong on that, but I'm just trying to work it through in my head. The kids. I'm not all that familiar with Rob Reiner's family, although I was familiar with Nick. I've seen Being Charlie. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's a movie about Nick and Rob Reiner and what that family went through with Nick. Being Charlie. Completely forgettable film from about 10 years ago or so. That I think is suddenly going to be like the #1 streaming film on Netflix or whatever. Because I'm going to go back and watch it. I remember seeing it going, oh my God, Rob Reiner's kid's a fuck up, right? I remember that was my takeaway. We'll get into that. We'll get into that whole thing. Nick Reiner has been taken into custody. Rob and Michelle were killed in their home, according to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Nick was taken into custody and is being held on $4 million bail. At an unrelated press conference Monday morning, Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald said that Nick had been now booked for murder. People Magazine had previously reported that Nick was being questioned by the Los Angeles Police Department. See, that's what was crazy about the police press conference last night. The Reiner family, minutes before the press conference went live, the Reiner family issued a statement confirming that the deceased were Rob and Michelle Reiner. The Reiner family put that out minutes before the press conference. The press conference starts last night, and the police refuse to confirm that there are bodies. They confirm there are bodies. They said that they were not going to release the names. Blah blah blah. And then a reporter's like, the Reiner family has already said that it's Rob and Michelle. And the guy was like, well, we don't know anything about that. They're playing it very close to the vest there in Hollywood. The Los Angeles Police Department. You don't think they learned lessons from OJ? Oh my God. Yeah, they did. And they were buttoned up, man. Let's see here. The couple had been married since 1989. They met while Rob was directing When Harry Met Sally, which was released that same year. Together, they had 3 children, including Nick, who previously has spoken openly about struggles with addiction and homelessness. beginning in his teens. Man. I mean, right? From where we sit, hardworking every day, all American, shovel our driveways and cut our own lawns type people. We hear about the third generation Reiner, grandson of Carl, the great Carl Reiner, son of Rob Meathead Reiner. We think about that kid growing up and we wonder, how the fuck did you end up homeless and a drug addict? Right? Don't we think that? We're like, my God, kid, you had it all made. I mean, you're allowed to be a certain level of fuck up when you're a Hollywood kid. But at some point, you know, and how old is Nick Reiner? Nick Reiner's like 30 or something. I mean, at some point, with all the benefits that you have, with all the fucking helps up the ladder that you have running around Hollywood, wanting to be a writer, a comedy writer. This kid was running around Hollywood trying to be a comedy writer with the last name of fucking Reiner and couldn't pull it together. His dad greenlit a movie that the kid wrote. The kid wrote Being Charlie. Nick Reiner wrote the film Being Charlie. You know, let's watch that. I'm going to show you, if you're unfamiliar with the film Being Charlie, show you the story on this. Actually, this is wild. This is, let's watch this. I don't know if y'all have seen this.
Post-production.
So Being Charlie was a film that was released in 2016, it says here. Okay, so yeah, it's about 10 years ago. So Being Charlie was released by Castle Rock. Yeah, it's Rob Reiner's company. Oh, yeah. Huge shit. It's him, Castle Rock, him, and like Ron Howard. Who was it? I know it was originally like Rob Reiner, Ron Howard, and Stephen King, I believe. I believe Castle Rock was how they made Stephen King movies, but whatever. Anyway. Rob Reiner's son, Nick, this kid born into all of this privilege with this fancy name that just happens to go hand in hand with his chosen profession. You know, what with his grandpa and dad being world famous comedy writers. This kid was a fuck up all his life. And then in his early 20s, apparently he had cleaned himself up to a point where dad, or maybe late teens, I don't even know how old he was in Being Charlie. It was 10 years ago, so he has to be in his early 30s now. Is he 32? Is that what he is? I'm not sure. So after, years and years of being a fuck up, in and out of rehab, apparently Nick Reiner comes to dad and he's like, Dad, I want to tell my story. Well, dad can give you the platform for that. Rob Reiner can give you the platform. And guess what Rob did? He did what any dad would do. He said, you know what? My kid's been through a lot. I love him dearly. He's a total fuck up, but he's trying to get his shit right. So let me help him. Let me, Rob Reiner, one of the most famous fucking directors in the world, let me make my next project be my dirtbag son's fucked up script about his life and his relationship with me. And they worked on it together. And, I remember the press tour. The only reason I saw the movie was because I remember seeing them together and thinking, wow, isn't this heartwarming? They've been through all of this. And now look at them. They're sitting there, they're talking, they love each other, father, son, the bond. So here, let's watch the trailer for Being Charlie. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but this is a movie that was written by Rob Reiner's son, the same son who murdered Rob Reiner and his mother and his wife last night. It's a movie that was written by Rob Reiner's son that the big machine in Hollywood said, yeah, we'll make that movie for you, little guy, if it keeps you straight. Directed by Rob Reiner. Do you know how many first-time screenwriters would fucking kill themselves for a chance to have Rob Reiner direct their first script? Well, Nick did, because it was his dad. All right, here we go. Let's watch this. Here's the trailer. This is the story of Nick Reiner. He goes by the name Charlie in the movie. This is not Nick Reiner playing Charlie. This is a fine young actor. I don't know his name, but I thought the kid who played him was really good. It's not the same word for word or whatever life story of him and Rob Reiner, but he does play the privileged son in the movie Being Charlie. Charlie is the addict teenage son of a famous Hollywood actor, Rob Reiner, famous Hollywood actor, who is now involved in politics. And I believe he's running for president or something. Maybe he's running for governor or something like that. I don't know, whatever it is. Ethan Hawke plays his dad. Ethan Hawke plays the role that would be Rob Reiner. All right. So here you go. This is it. This is the movie that Rob Reiner made with the son that would in 9 years murder him. Here we go.
Charlie, why don't you tell us what you want to thank God for? 6 months of sobriety? Nothing you want to say?
Do I smell like weed? Oh, I think I smell like weed.
Look like you came from a funeral.
I'm going to use your bathroom.
Hey, go ahead. Let me see those. My mother's oxys.
Dad, I'm not going to listen to you telling me what a drug addict I am. Be careful, I'm one of your constituents now. You wouldn't want to lose the governor's race by 1 vote. You can either head back to treatment or live on the streets. It's your choice.
Charlie, you think your dad's going to know about any of this when he's elected? No, he's going to be in Sacramento doing his governor.
Oh, wait, he's taking their side?
Right. Go shoot up, prove everyone right. Just stick it out for 30 days.
Being an outpatient comes with more freedom but more responsibility.
There's still group though, right?
Every day.
You think he'll stay? He has no choice.
Hey, making a break for it?
Friendship during sobriety, not a problem. Romance, however, tends to get away.
You can look, but you can't touch.
When you went to rehab, you get strip searched. And if I had known that that would be the last time that anybody would touch me, I would have tried to enjoy it more.
All right, you're done.
You were funny, man. You got something.
It's not for everybody.
It's for you.
You know, it would be so great right now. Drink.
If you continue to refuse to accept the disease that put you here, you will continue to be a repeat offender.
What you mean, repeat customer?
I love him. I love him.
You've had plenty of choices, Charlie. Rehab or jail, you know, quite a wide selection there. One of us had to keep him safe.
For him or for you?
I can't stay here anymore, okay? This place is like a prison.
It's not even close. But don't worry. If you're not dead, you'll probably end up there anyway.
Never about the drugs. All I ever wanted was a way to kill the noise.
Getting sober is a selfish thing. You gotta help yourself first.
I know what you're thinking. Who is this kid with the silver spoon in his mouth, and why does he keep cooking heroin in it? Total waste of a good utensil.
All right. So that I'm going to leave it up there with the black screen for a second because that is the movie that Rob Reiner and his son Nick made together, being Charlie, in 2016. Of course, Nick, who wrote that about himself, that's Nick writing about his life and his relationship with his father. Nick, of course, killed his father and his mother last night. So the reason I kept it black here is because this trailer then rolls into a conversation with the real Nick Reiner and his father, the late Rob Reiner. And I wanted to show that to you as well because it's absolutely fascinating. This is the young man that would kill his father, talking to his father about this wonderful movie that they made about their life and their struggle and about how they made it and how they should be an example to other people who are going through similar things. All right, so let's continue with that. Okay, check this out. This is really powerful.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on this movie.
Thank you.
From what I've read, it's a very personal story.
Okay,
correct?
hold on.
Yes.
What just happened? Ugh. Hold on. All right. So nothing really bad happened. Hold on, guys. I got to do something. I screwed the pooch. Hold on. We'll go to that in a second. I screwed the pooch. I'm so sorry. That was me. My big, fat, stupid thumbs, man. All right, here we go. I'm going to do this again. Okay.
It was never about the drugs. All I ever wanted was a way to kill the noise.
Getting sober is a selfish thing. You gotta help yourself first.
I know what you're thinking. Who is this kid with the silver spoon in his mouth, and why does he keep cooking heroin in it? Total waste of a good
Level?
I don't know.
Here we go. All right, now again, this is the interview with Rob Reiner and his son Charlie, or son Nick. Sorry, don't confuse it. Nick is Charlie. Charlie is the movie character.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on this movie.
Thank you.
From what I've read, it's a very personal story, correct?
Yes. I mean, it's based, loosely based. It's not exactly a documentary, but it is loosely based on, things that Nick went through and his relationship to me and his mother. And you can talk a little bit more about it, Nick, if you want.
These are like the WWE microphones with the.
Do you want to take it up to that level now?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of Monday Night Raw, so.
Should we just not talk about the movie and just start trash talking each other really loudly with these microphones?
We could talk some smack, but I don't know. What was the question?
Well, I mean, I guess the question
How
is,
personal the movie is.
it's a personal project for you guys, but it's also, as much as you might have lived some of the experiences that are in this movie, you have to tell the story, you have to write the script, you then have to make the movie. How much did you find that you had to sort of compromise what was personal for you and what told a good story and vice versa?
The last part you just said is important because it's like you do have to realize that there are some good things from your life and whether or not you want to include them. And I wasn't really that shy about including some of the bad stuff I did because a lot of people do things that are pretty unsavory when they're going through that. But in terms of making it a narrative, of course, it's not my life, but it needs to be constructed into a story. But I think I can relate to it, of course, and I hope other people can relate to it.
Did you guys have trouble at all when you first started writing the script? Because I imagine you were working hand in hand with him to develop the story and write the script. When it came to sort of what to use and what not to use and what parts of your life made a good story and what parts didn't make a great story?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing about a film like this, and it's by far the most personal thing that I've ever done, is that, and you don't set out to have a cathartic experience or this will be therapeutic in some way, but the fact that we were dealing with things that Nick had gone through and how I had related to it and how his mother had related to it, it forced me to have to see more clearly and understand more deeply what Nick had gone through. And I think it forced him to see things that I had experienced during this process. And it definitely brought us closer together. I mean, it was like over a period of a year. It was intense. It was difficult at times, but it was also the most satisfying creative experience I've ever had.
What was the most difficult part about working together for the two of you? I mean, I have trouble working together with my dad on yard work, let alone, a 2-year movie.
Well, what kind of yard work do you do?
That could be where it lies. I don't like raking.
Well, there you go. You got some negatives going in. What did you think? What was the toughest for you? What do you think, Nick?
It wasn't very tough. I mean, it was a pretty nice experience for me. I don't really think it was like tough at all.
Really?
I mean, of course it was a little bit, but.
I mean, we did get into fights over things, but ultimately it forced us to make the film better. I mean, we get into issues, and I would see, he would. The whole process for me, I can just speak for myself. It did make me understand him a lot more, and I think it made me a better father. Hopefully, it did. I don't know, but I think that, and you'll see it in the film. What happens is, your kid. If your kid is going through rough times, the parent your main job is to keep your child safe. So I would do anything. I felt at a loss, so I would do anything that, as we say in the film, anybody with a desk and a diploma, I would listen to them. And the whole idea of tough love and you have to be a certain way. And it's not my nature. It's not the way I am built, but I went and did that, and I think that, at the end of the day, I know my child better than an expert does. And I probably should have trusted my own instinct. And that's one of the things I did learn about the whole experience.
I think the bonding came not from the story itself, but from the fact that we were working on a movie together, and I could see him and I would think, in the form that he could express himself the best, which is making movies, because he has so much experience. And so seeing that sort of turned me around to be like, okay, I should probably
No, sorry, I'm responding.
Oh, just probably shut up and listen to him because he knows a lot more about this. He knows I don't know anything, so I'll learn whatever he has to teach me.
I just think that's such a fascinating thing to say that like your
All right,
father
there
who
you
you
have
would
it.
always
All
want
right,
to be
that's
at his
I
best.
mean, I'm sorry. I could honestly, I will probably later watch that entire interview. It goes on for quite some time. I imagine we'll be seeing pieces of that interview. that interview is about to go viral on an interview that he did 9 years ago. I saw in the chat room that we've got Joe sharing some stuff. So let's be cool, right? Let's see what Joe's getting into. Joe says, I have a son, brilliant, hardworking, loving. He's an addict. He's homeless. We've done everything we can think of. He's had every advantage. He is so loved. He comes from a nuclear loving family. Nothing has stopped him from destroying himself. Well, Joe, I love you. And I'm sorry. I wish there was, there are obviously no words, and thank you for sharing that. Such a weird thing, right? Like this is like this addiction, this like, what are we talking about here, right? Is it heroin? I think that's what it was in the movie. It was opioid. I think it was opioids and pills and stuff in the movie. Ugh. That has got to be one of the greatest fears of any parent with a child, especially an adventurous child like the one I got. My kid, my kid's always up for a good time, but that fear has got to be that needle, right? Or the pills, My kid suffered a football injury last year, and he was prescribed pain pills. And it was a real concern. We were like, well, how many do you give him? I go, you don't leave the bottle of pills in possession of the 15-year-old who's got a strained ACL. You dole them out when the doctor says, you don't. So, I mean, but that's a great fear, man, because that is the shit. Opioids. That's the stuff that clings to you at a cellular, at a molecular level, that turns you into something completely different. And Joe, I obviously, I don't know your situation, Joe, but I would imagine. Yeah, Joe says we deal with heroin now, fentanyl. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the one, right? That's the one. Like, do you remember in the 80s when they used to send kids to rehab because they found a joint in their locker at school? I mean, there was a lot of money made fucking, just convincing parents that all drugs were the same. They're not. Your kid smokes a little weed. Take it away from them, ground them, whatever. Same thing as your kid, stealing beers out of the refrigerator in the man cave in the garage. These other things, these opioids, man, that shit fucking is crazy. I mean, and that's the only way you can look at this situation with Nick Reiner. Again, third generation legacy, a Nepo baby. He had every advantage, could go to the best schools. I mean, come on. Dude, if his father, here's the thing, if his father, Rob Reiner, had never done a goddamn thing in his career, this kid still would have been raised in the lap of luxury because his grandfather is Carl Reiner. So it's that. It's heroin. It's opioids. I don't know if it's cocaine. I mean, I think cocaine is addictive. Cocaine is addictive because it makes you feel indestructible. And I think that's the thing that people get addicted to, the feeling of cocaine. I don't know that cocaine is actually, is it like a nicotine? Is there something in there's like a nicotine or a sugar or caffeine, the way we get dependent upon these substances? Is that, I don't know. I don't know about cocaine. But I do remember with my history with cocaine was that this is easy to stop if you just recognize that it's too good, too much good. That's what I always said about cocaine. I tried it like a couple of times. I was dating a girl who used to do it. That had to end. You know, it was just like, what? But I remember thinking after like the third time I tried it, I remember thinking, you know what? I totally get why people destroy their lives on this. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to a couple of beers, a shot of whiskey, and maybe smoke a bowl in the parking lot. That'll be about my extent. But, you know, these kids, they go to parties and they want to try things. And, you know, before you know it, they're fucking rich kids smoking crack. Cocaine's a party drug. Ecstasy's a party drug. But opioids, that's a lifestyle. You are committing to something for the rest of your life. That's my biggest fear. I always say to my kid, hey, I mean, I've been saying this to my kid since he's 9 years old. Look, let me tell you something, kid. Here's what we don't do in this family. What was it that I said to me? We don't pop, we don't sniff, and we don't shoot. Nothing. Ever. You don't pop anything? Pills. You don't sniff anything. You don't fucking sniff anything. And thankfully, he's completely spooked by the whole fentanyl thing. So he would never even try cocaine. I hope this entire generation has been at least, you know, corrected with the cocaine. They're not going to go with cocaine because cocaine's been ruined now. I mean, even good cocaine is killing people. So cocaine is ruined. He kind of understands that. But man, I tell them needles, no pills, and nothing that you sniff. You know, you're a boy. You're an American teenage boy. You're going to drink beer in a cornfield with your buddies. We get that. You smoke a little weed. It's 2025. Weed is everywhere. Most people recognize that weed is even less than beer. So, you know. But none of that other stuff. I mean, we all live in fear. Anybody with a young person, we all live in fear of what's going on with this because the drug addiction doesn't know what your parents' tax returns are, right? I mean, it just affects everybody evenly. But why? I mean, you know, all the rest of his kids, right? The rest of his kids seem okay, I guess. I don't know. I guess when you think, well, the only one of his kids that I know is the one that murdered him and his wife. So yeah, I guess by comparison, the rest of the kids are fucking peaches. I don't know, though. Is it hard to grow up with celebrity parents? I mean, I know that they say it. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things and we just go, oh, that must be true because people say it. What's so hard about it? What's so hard about having privilege? What's so hard about having every advantage known to a young man in America or a woman? What's so hard about your dad being beloved? He was never here. I mean, I guess maybe that's it, you know, but I'm sorry, just because your dad's a famous film director doesn't mean that he's home any less than the dad who is the regional manager of whatever, who's always climbing on an airplane and gone for weeks at a time. American men are absent from the family in many cases because of work requirements. So don't go giving me that's the reason why Hollywood kids are, because their dads are always, there's plenty of kids who are raised by dads or off working all the time. Now there'll be, you know, some idealistic points of view that'll say that no, it's just the debauched nature of living in Hollywood, and all of those people are. I don't buy that either. Maybe it's access to drugs. I don't know. But yeah, okay. So Nick Reiner, who wrote a screenplay with his dad, Rob Reiner, being Charlie. Again, I'm telling you, watch that movie, just climb Netflix. Nick Reiner is being held in Los Angeles for the murder of his father and mother. What a just unbelievable. You know, guys, this is not the first rodeo for me on this subject. I used to joke. My neighborhood led the league in patricide and matricide. I had two dudes that I grew up with who killed their parents. Two dudes. How is that? And like within 5 years of each other. I promise you, most of you grew up, you didn't know one damn kid in your neighborhood that killed his parents. I got two. the fuck? Just unthinkable. I mean, you want to talk about what is going on in this neighborhood? And it wasn't related. It wasn't like, let's kill our parents tonight. No. 2 complete years apart, but still, and they were friends. Like, they knew each other. The two guys knew each other. They ran in the same stoner group. They were stoners. They killed their parents. Terrible. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, thankfully, hey, good news, Mom, if you're listening, good news. Couldn't even imagine. I mean, I know, but for the grace of God, mental illness and all of that stuff. I mean, you know, that's not where I start to go with this kid. Was the addiction. See, in many cases, people do fucked up things because they're addicts, right? Now, how did they get to be an addict? A lot of these cases, it's because they have severe mental illness and they don't know how to treat it, or there isn't treatment available for whatever reason, because we don't treat mental illness normal. And so they start self-medicating, and then all of a sudden they're junkies. And they're junkies. Why? They're junkies because they were nuts to begin with. But I don't believe that that's 100% of the cases. I think that there are a lot of very good people with no mental illness who become junkies and do terrible things. We just don't know what the story is here with this Nick Reiner. I don't know if he was already batshit crazy and that's why he became a homeless teenager who was a junkie, or was he a homeless teenager who was a junkie because he just made a couple of bad choices and it's a slippery slope. But just the fact that in 2016, when this kid was 22 years old, he had a script published and produced by a major Hollywood studio that was directed by Rob Reiner, forgetting that Rob Reiner's his father. Still, that kid 9 years ago had that. How did he spiral so far that now last night he murdered his mother and his dad? Hold on. What do we got here? Let me do some chat room stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about here. Kevin Barber says, do I know these kids, Pugs? Well, you are from Brementown. This was more of a T-Brook thing, but yes, they were both Andrew students. Both of them 2 years older than us. Do you remember, I don't want to say the name of them because one of them was a girl in our class, her brother, a girl named Chris, Chris Lefko. Chris at the Lefkos, the Lefko situation. Nobody's listening, and God love Chris and what her family went through. But those are the stories. Chris Lefko's mother was murdered. Kevin, I'm talking to Kevin. This is right now. I'm streaming for one guy. Chris Lefko's mother was murdered by her brother, Kevin. Kevin, if you remember, he was 2 years older. He was one of them stoner dudes, always walking around in jean jackets. And then, 5 years later, Jim Evenson murdered his mom, which is crazy. Jim Evenson was a very good friend of mine. Jim Evenson slept over at my house. I've slept over at his house. My mom knew Jim Evenson. He lived in the condo on the other side of the creek, right behind us. He was one of the guys in our little condo neighborhood that we all ran around with together. So, yeah. So that's who those guys are, Kevin. Not sure if you were familiar with either one. They were from different neighborhood and 2 years older, but still. Let's see here. Adam is in the chat room. He says, I was listening to the Health Stuff podcast, and the doctor on there talked about how everyone has an addiction lurking. It's just whether or not it ever gets activated. That's probably true. I think they were, hold on. Let's break this down. Everyone has an addiction lurking. I mean, I get that. I get why, Adam, that resonated with you and why you're like, because I get it too. But everyone has an addiction lurking? Well, no. It's just that everybody is susceptible to things that are addictive because we're human. So yeah, we all have an addiction lurking because every human being is capable of becoming addicted or dependent upon opioids or whatever. So, okay. All right. There you go. I thought it was really deep when Adam first posted it. And then I went, but wait a second. That's just a fancy poetic way of saying something that's real obvious. Nice try, Adam. He says, he goes on to say, it's just hard when it's readily available and accessible, which makes it hard for people like myself who have it with food where you need it to survive. What am I mean, I know I could be addicted to any number of things. I mean, I've got alcoholism in my family, but I'm not dependent on alcohol. I don't drink alcohol at all, really. I mean, socially, I'll have a beer with you and stuff. I don't want to be the buzzkill that brings everybody down. No, I'm not drinking. That always, you know what, this happens to me every time I go out, and I do occasionally like turn down a drink. Like we'll sit down and it'll be a lunch and they'll be like, I'll take a beer. Hey, what's good? You know what I want? What kind of whiskeys do you have? And it'll get to me and I'll be like, yeah, I have a Diet Coke. And it'll say, what? Well, yeah, you're not drinking? Like people say you're not drinking. Like I had some incident that I'm trying to be responsible for. No, I just don't want to really have a buzz at 4:30 when we leave here. I mean, I have plenty of things that I mean, we're all susceptible to it. I'm addicted to nicotine. Absolutely addicted to nicotine. Ain't that a bite in the ass? Here I am, completely addicted to nicotine, and I have never smoked a cigarette in my life. A cigarette has never touched these lips. Chewing tobacco. Chewing tobacco is what got me. Now I'm addicted to nicotine, and I don't smoke. Oh, well, I guess we can take lung cancer off the table, I guess. That's probably good. Adam wants an opportunity to kind of reestablish what he was saying. He says, I was talking about how you said chemical dependency versus your brain wiring. Our brains are hardwired to be addictive. Yeah, well, again, I think molecularly we're hardwired to be addicted to certain substances. I don't know what you're talking about, your brain. Well, your brain is I'm not going to get into this. I don't know, Adam. You and I over beers, we could probably go on this conversation forever. But all right, let's see. What else do we have here? We talked about Billy Crystal IDing the body. Let's do this. I'm not going to do a Rob Reiner draft or anything like that, but let's honestly, just for those people out there who maybe just have never heard of him. I don't know who you are, and I know that you're probably not. I know you're probably not tuning into this if you've never heard of Rob Reiner, because even on days when he wasn't the lead story, I would assume that people who listen to talk radio know who he is. But there's a lot of people out there who don't, and maybe there are a lot of people out there who only know him as the guy who hates Trump. I mean, I think there's a whole lot of people who entirely define who Rob Reiner is by the things he has said about President Trump. He hates him. He despises him. As we said, earlier, he's probably the most high-profile and decorated Hollywood Trump critic out there. He's certainly the most relentless. Never passes up an opportunity to talk about what he feels Trump is doing to America. But in addition to all of that, this dude is legitimately, I mean, I love my directors. I love my directors, and I always tell you, my top 5 directors is always some sort of hodgepodge. Number 1 is always going to be Stanley Kubrick, but 2, maybe it's Paul Thomas Anderson, maybe it's Scorsese, maybe it's Quentin. I don't know. But that's essentially my top 5. Kubrick, and then 4 other dudes. I mean, just outside of that, there are people like George Roy Hill, Spielberg, of course. Although I think Spielberg's overrated, but okay. But he makes big, beautiful films, right? He's the Otto Preminger of the modern age. But Rob Reiner's right there, man. Rob Reiner's right there with guys like Ron Howard, and I'm trying to think of some other people that I really like. John Cassavetes. Last night, when I looked at his filmography, just to sort of, you know the hit, you know the big ones. But the shit you forget that this guy created. I'll give you an example. On his list of films, his filmography, which is really impressive. Hold on, let me pull it up here. No, I don't care about. He's got an entire section of just accolades. The very first thing that he ever directed was This Is Spinal Tap. Now, This Is Spinal Tap has been around since 1984, okay? I just had a bit of a resurgence where he, Rob Reiner, just last year made like a Spinal Tap 2. Wasn't that great? You know, I love Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap 2 was a little bit of, okay, I get it. You guys all just wanted to work together and you're at that age where why not? You know, so cool. But his first film, after being essentially known by everybody as Meathead, the liberal voice on All in the Family, America's most beloved situation comedy, as Meathead, all of a sudden, what's Meathead doing? Meathead's directing? First film, This Is Spinal Tap. There's an argument to be made that This Is Spinal Tap is one of the most important films made in the last 50, 60 years. I would make that argument. I would absolutely put This Is Spinal Tap on that list. Why? Because what we take for granted now didn't exist then. Well, I mean, Albert Brooks had done a few things, but truly, Rob Reiner invented the mockumentary, the fake documentary, the documentary that looks real, but then you start to pay attention to it and you're like, wait a second, is this a joke? That was Rob Reiner. Now, one of the people that Rob Reiner cast in This Is Spinal Tap would then take the mockumentary format and define his career by it. That I'm talking about Chris Guest, Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap. Chris Guest would go on to basically perfect the mockumentary format. But don't kid yourself. Outside of something Albert Brooks had done, nobody had really done a full feature film as a mockumentary. This Is Spinal Tap. Groundbreaking, important, and iconic comedy. That was his first one. Yeah, Meathead here. I'm going to try and do a movie. Maybe some of you will see it. And by the way, it wasn't a hit. Wasn't a big hit. Spinal Tap was not a hit. Wasn't released wide, but it was so critically acclaimed. And everybody cool in America, I don't care who it was, your favorite rock star, your favorite TV guy, your favorite person you listen to on the radio every morning while you got ready for school. Everybody cool told you that Spinal Tap was a mind-blowing comedy, one of the great comedies of all time, out of the box. It was a cult hit. And then it became more than that. Then it became a part of our culture. I made a post yesterday about Rob Reiner and how important he was. Not in a way that like, we go, he's so important. But just, you know, all of us try to leave something, right? Whether it's a child or it's a legacy or it's a business or whatever it is, we all, you know, something that they'll remember me by. Fucking Rob Reiner is responsible for, as far as our culture goes, some of the most endearing phrases, lines, every single one of his movies has a line, a signature line that even today you can repeat. And that's the mark of a beloved film. If people can just fucking repeat lines, that means they love it. Forget about the critics. Forget about, if you're in a bar and somebody can start repeating lines from them, that means that movie has resonated. It has become a part of the culture. And for Spinal Tap, holy shit. How many lines from Spinal Tap do people use in everyday life? How many lines from Spinal Tap are used so frequently that most people don't even know it's a line from Spinal Tap because it has become that pervasive in the culture? It goes to 11, right? Spinal Tap. It goes to, this one's one more, goes to 11. All the other amps go to 10. This one is louder. It goes to 11. To which Rob Reiner then asked Nigel Tufnell, well, why don't you just make all of them just a little bit louder and then just have the loudest one go to 10? Makes sense. To which Nigel responded, because this one goes to 11. It's one more. Classic lines. All right, so Spinal Tap was his first. How did he follow Spinal Tap up? He followed Spinal Tap up with a film that was a box office hit, but it's not really a film that people talk about as being one of the great films from that era, unless you're a Gen X boy. The Sure Thing was Rob Reiner's second film. The Sure Thing. I mean, I can still watch The Sure Thing. The Sure Thing was one of the first movies that I sat down and watched with my son when he was turning into a teenager. It's like, I think a couple of years ago, like 14, something like that. Dude, we're going to watch The Sure Thing. John Cusack about a dude who is traveling across country to visit his friend who has sent him a picture of Nicolette Sheridan, if you remember her back in the 80s. He sent him a picture of Nicolette Sheridan in a white bikini and said, dude, you got to get out to Hollywood. She's a sure thing. So John Cusack tries to go across country. Great film. Is there a line from that? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So he's talking to a girl who was going to have a baby and she didn't know about a name. And I think she said Elliot. He said, what are you going to name the baby? And she goes, Elliot. John Cusack's response, Elliot? Elliot's not. Elliot's a fat kid who eats paste. There you go. I can't tell you how many times that's a fat kid who eats paste. That's a Rob Reiner line from The Sure Thing. Or how about how he follows it up with, you know what a name is? The name is Nick. You got to name the kid Nick. Nick's your buddy. Nick's your friend. Nick will let you puke in the backseat of his car, and he's not going to yell at you about it. Sure Thing. Sure Thing was the second film. Those are two great indelible comedies. Now, Sure Thing for Gen X. Spinal Tap, not so much. Spinal Tap was, catching cool boomers at the end of their, relevant years. But Gen X then picked up on Spinal Tap. All right, so he finishes. Look at this run. Tell me a director who has ever in the history of film had a run like this. There's very few. It is rare air. This is Spinal Tap, followed by The Sure Thing, followed by, want to see a dead body? Stand By Me. I mean, come on. This is Spinal Tap. It goes to 11. The Sure Thing, Nick's your buddy, Nick's your friend. Stand By Me. Want to see a dead body? These are lines that we still use. I mean, he didn't make a fucking clunker until the 2000s. This is Spinal Tap, 84. The Sure Thing, 85. Stand By Me, 86. The Princess Bride, 87. The Princess Bride. Now, there's one of those movies that 100 years from now, we'll still know the story of The Princess Bride. We may have seen multiple, remakes of it or whatever, but the story, The Princess Bride, will absolutely stand the test of time. It is arguably, in my opinion, his greatest film. Now, it's not his greatest film because of the one that he followed it up with. His best film is When Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally, starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Here's why this is, in my opinion, his greatest film. Because this was the film that showed Hollywood that the format or the genre of the romantic comedy could not only draw women, but it could draw men as well. The crossover appeal of the rom-com was proven by Rob Reiner directing and writing When Harry Met Sally. That's true. That's true. Right after the success of When Harry Met Sally is when everything exploded. Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, Notting Hill, Julia Roberts' entire 90s career. So there you go. Probably the most important rom-com of all time. I mean, look at it. We'll go this way. Spinal Tap, arguably one of the most important mockumentaries of all time. Stand By Me, arguably one of the greatest coming-of-age films ever made. The Princess Bride. I don't even know how to, I mean, that's just classic. That's just in like a category. When Harry Met Sally. Possibly the best rom-com of all time. Dude is on a run. We're only up to 1989. 84, Spinal Tap. 85, Sure Thing. 86, Stand By Me. 87, Princess Bride. 89, When Harry Met Sally. 1990, let's throw another greatest in there, although I don't think we can do that with this one. 1990, the dude made Misery. James Caan. The reason we know who Kathy Bates is. All right. So a couple of lines. Let's see here. When Harry Met Sally. Sorry. What would be the iconic line from When Harry Met Sally? I'll have what she's having. The scene in the diner where Billy Crystal is arguing that he can tell when a woman fakes an orgasm. So Meg Ryan has a fake orgasm right there in the booth. Cut to another woman dining in the diner talking to a waitress. She says, I'll have what she's having. Boom, that's your line. Interestingly enough, the woman who utters the line, I'll have what she's having, is Estelle Reiner, Rob Reiner's mother and wife of Carl Reiner. And Misery, 1990. What's the line from Misery? Mr. Man. Kathy Bates. There's a bunch of lines from Misery, but Mr. Man is the one that I always go back to. This fucking run of movies for Rob Reiner, man. Spinal Tap, Sure Thing, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery. Oh, and A Few Good Men. 1992. He took 2 years off after the success of Misery, and he's like, I'm going to stretch out a little, put a little extra time in this massive star-studded film, A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. I'm telling you, man, Rob Reiner made some movies, dude. Made some movies. And then it kind of gets a little squirrely. North, I remember North came out. North was kind of a bomb. North was about a kid. Not sure. By the way, he didn't write. I think I misrepresented. Rob Reiner didn't write When Harry Met Sally. North was in 1984, not great. 1995, The American President, which is a movie I absolutely love. The American President is such a good film. The American President, and The West Wing. If you like The West Wing, you need to see The American President, because Aaron Sorkin will tell you that it was seeing The American President that gave him the inspiration to do The West Wing. The American President's a great film. Again, it's an idealized idea of, a president who is completely capable, in charge, all of that. It's a great film. If you've never seen it, it was released around the same time as another movie. Maybe not exactly the same time, but in the same era. It was released around the same time, I want to say. Michael Douglas is the American President. And then there was another movie with Kevin Kline called Dave. Don't get him confused. The American President is better than Dave. Dave is silly. Anyway, 96, Ghosts of Mississippi. 99, The Story of Us. I don't know what that is. 2003, taking some time off, getting a little bit older. Alex and Emma. I don't know what that is. 2005, Rumor Has It. All right, that was kind of a big film. 2007, The Bucket List. All right, another fairly successful film. Although none of these are as iconic as that fucking Spinal Tap Through a Few Good Men run that this dude put out. I'm looking over at some other movies. The Shock and Awe, LBJ, Albert Brooks, Defending My Life, God and Country. And the final thing he did was in 2025, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. But when this dude was in his prime, when Rob Reiner was in his prime, Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, North, The American President, Ghosts of Mississippi. That's it. You hang your hat on that, and they're building statues to you. Yeah, it's not that the sound is off. Yeah, no, I know. It's not that the sound is off. It's that the Zoom box just shit the bed, which means that suddenly the mic is not working. Hold on. All right, so let's take a little break here for a second. We'll get back into the big news. We're still going to talk about Bondi Beach. We're still going to talk about Brown University. We're still going to talk about football. We're still going to talk about all of that kind of stuff. But I need you to tell me right now, April, am I going through the computer or are you hearing me on the microphone? I believe I'm going through the computer and it's not recognizing the microphone. So that ain't good. So I'm going to give you now a little bit of time to answer, because there's like a 5-minute fucking delay for no reason whatsoever. So please let me know in the chat room. The only thing that I know to do in this situation is to I gotta X out of everything. I gotta close the show. Because the microphone is not fucking recognizing. Come on, bitch. Thank you, Maddie. Apologize for these issues here in the new studio. Oh, God. Yeah, no, it's just, there we go. Now we're recognizing it. Why does it take so long? Okay. All right, how about now? All right, how about now? Is it back? Let me know, folks. Let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be back. It says it's back, but I don't know. You guys let me know. I'm waiting on the chat room. Waiting. We need to figure out exactly how long this delay is. Because I don't know if it's like, okay, we're back. Yep. Okay, I love you, Amy. But again, yep, what? I need more when I ask these questions. Like, yep, you're still on the computer mic, or yep, that microphone is actually working. It's back. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Good now. Thank you, folks. Ooh. All right, what's Joe saying? Joe likes to write in the chat room. We encourage that. We like people with things to say in the chat room. Be careful on here. Facebook just mailed me an added restriction to my account until mid-January, so don't write the names of the drugs. Jesus, sorry about that. Wait, what? What's Facebook getting involved in your business for? I don't like that. All right, so let's finish up. We just went through the Rob Reiner stuff. It's a tragedy. Murdered by his son. At least that's how it appears. See, was there anything else? The son has been arrested. Billy Crystal ID'd the body. We've got that. Man, you know what? There was a whole other part of this that I wanted to get into that had to do with the way our president responded to this. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But I do want to show something, because there are a lot of people, just the worst among us. Just, you know what? If you can't shut your fucking mouth about this, a lot of us who do not think that Charlie Kirk was a very good human being kept our mouth shut. We kept our mouth shut for the appropriate mourning period. And then for people like me who couldn't keep their mouth fully shut, I said things that were, I think, kind, loving, right? Talked about don't worry about the kids. I talked about, my father was murdered like that. Everybody's worried about the kids. So, I mean, I tried to handle the Charlie Kirk situation as best I could without coming out and going, yeah, that guy's an asshole. Assholes die every day. I waited a good 2 months before I went that. But bad people die every day. And you may think that Rob Reiner is an asshole for the very same reasons that I think Charlie Kirk is an asshole. I think Charlie Kirk divided people. I think Charlie Kirk insidiously divided young people. I don't want to get into all of the problems that I have with Charlie Kirk. But you very well may look at Rob Reiner as the same way. Oh, he's a Hollywood liberal. He influenced people to think in a way that I don't like. Okay. And if that's the way you feel about Rob Reiner, I would just ask you to do what I did. Just keep your fucking mouth shut for 2 months. In 2 months, if you want to come back out and go, hey, wait a second, you know what about Rob Reiner? Both of these people were killed in horrible ways, although not, at least now, not appearing to be under the same circumstances. Charlie Kirk was killed by a crazy fucking person because Charlie Kirk was exclusively political. Rob Reiner, I thought it was the tit for tat last night. I thought, hey, here we go. Yep, they got to get their pound of flesh. They're gonna make it even. But it's not that. It's even sadder. It's something that, came from inside the house, if you will. So just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. You can control yourself, unless you're a bot, or unless you're just, if you can't keep your mouth shut, then you're just a really terrible person. You're just a really terrible person. And it's kind of gotten to the point now in this country where I think a lot of people who are terrible are owning it. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that if you're a terrible person, what you need to do is work on not being a terrible person, not doubling down on owning that you're terrible. Yeah, I'm terrible. Fuck you. Seeing that a lot with the racist thing. Yeah, I'm a racist. Like, people are totally comfortable with that now. Yeah, I'm a racist. My God. But there are a lot of people, and I'm laughing at this. I'm laughing at it because I'm seeing the direct opposite. There are a lot of people who are patting themselves on the back, bending over backwards, patting themselves on the back. A lot of people with American flag emojis, shit like that. All have blue checks. These are all people who are paying the world's wealthiest man monthly fees for something that was always free because the world's wealthiest man made the stupidest fucking business deal ever. The blue check people that are out there now. These people are going around, they're patting themselves on the back and they're saying shit like, you don't see anyone on the right saying anything negative about Rob Reiner. You don't see, right? They're trying to paint this world where everybody talks shit about Charlie Kirk. Nobody talks shit about Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel didn't talk shit about Charlie Kirk. That's how fucking oversensitive you pearl clutchers were back when that was going on. Nobody talks shit about Charlie Kirk. Now, there may have been some monstrous left bots out there who did some things just to get attention. I wouldn't put that past. I'm not saying nobody, but the rank and file of the left, or the rank and file of the people who did not appreciate Charlie Kirk's business model, those people kept their mouths shut. It was actually, I'm like, okay, this is good. But now we got people on the right patting themselves on the back saying, notice how no one on the right is saying anything about Rob Reiner? The president of the United States put out a tweet that was one of the shittiest fucking things I have ever read. President of the United States is a piece of fucking shit, and I am done pretending like, well, we got to give him a chance. He's a garbage human being. We got to give a lot of you people, good people, who for the past, I don't know, since 2016, you've leaned into this. We've got to give these people a fucking off-ramp to come back to civilized society, because the only way that I see America getting any better is if we fucking do what was there in the original part, which was marginalize this weird fringe portion of the Republican Conservative Party. It's a weird it's becoming more and more every day that MAGA is just a weird fringe thing. And the president of the United States, and what he wrote about Rob Reiner today about the victim of Trump derangement, said, fuck you, man. Making it political? Are you fucking kidding me? You piece of shit. You are not in any way, shape, or form emblematic of what I hope people think America is. And unfortunately, you're standing highest up on the pedestal. Did you people read what the president of the United States wrote about Rob Reiner? It's fucking garbage. So let's also answer this. A lot of people, I saw a couple of tweets, people say that, well, Rob Reiner celebrated when Charlie Kirk was killed. Stop it, you divisive pieces of shit. Rob Reiner did not celebrate when Charlie Kirk was killed. First of all, that would be shocking. Right? You don't want to know why? Because Rob Reiner is a dignified man in public. I don't know what he's like around the dinner table, but I can tell you in every interview that he's ever gave, he doesn't fucking behave like Trump. Okay? He doesn't sit there and go, yeah, well, he doesn't try and score points at every fucking turn. What he is an elitist Hollywood liberal. Okay? Everything's nice. Hugs, love, all of that. That's the fucking nonsense that he was about. So stop it. Rob Reiner said things about Charlie Kirk. Okay, so here we've got an example of what Rob Reiner said about Charlie Kirk. This comes to us from a crazy ass show. You guys remember Piers Morgan? We ran him the fuck out of this country. We ran Piers Morgan out of this country a couple of years ago because he was anti-gun. Remember that? He was like super MAGA. He was like, was this just barely before MAGA? He was like super MAGA in every regard, except he's a Brit who doesn't like guns. So we fucking ran him out of the country. And by the way, I'm okay with it because I wasn't a fan of his. The only thing I liked about him was his reasonable common sense approach to gun control. But that was, not good for the right. So they pushed him out. CNN had to get rid of him. He's over there in England now. Piers Morgan is doing what I think is probably the most fascinating interview show in the world. It's a goddamn circus every night. It's balls to the wall nuts. Have they no rules over there in England? Anyway, if you ever get a chance, just any given night, Piers Morgan's just mixing it up with crazy people. He's so unlikable, though. He is not a likable dude. Anyway, let's take a look at, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination.
About the murder of Charlie.
Let's see what Rob Reiner had to say, because there's a whole bunch of you maggots out there who are like, Rob Reiner said.
Heard about the murder of Charlie Kirk. What was your immediate gut reaction to it?
Well, horror, absolute horror. And I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, that the memorial they had, was exactly right. And totally, I believe, I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in doing to others, and I believe in forgiveness. And what she said to me was beautiful, and absolutely, she forgave his assassin, and I think that is admirable.
All right, so there you have it. That is Rob Reiner talking shit on Charlie Kirk, according to any number of MAGA bots that are out there on Twitter right now. All right, now we got everybody fighting in the chat room. Yeah, because that's what we need more of. We need more of two people. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Y'all got to get yourself a daily live stream like me, where you can vent this shit so you don't fight with people. I don't fight with people on the internet. I do this. I feel good when I'm done with this. And then I don't reply to you. Everybody's like, yeah, but what about what you said? I just fucking leave you hanging. That's the way to win. That is the way to win a Twitter fight. Say one thing, get them to respond, and then don't engage. Just let them sit there. I was so upset this morning when I saw what the president said, because I have fucking been carrying a lot of fucking load, trying to give that guy a decent break, trying to say, well, he is obviously a fucking snake oil salesman, but there's a lot of fucking stupid inbred morons in this country who can't fucking see that. So let's give him a chance. You people are fucking deplorable. Remember that? Remember when y'all got pearl clutchy? And well, actually, it was kind of brilliant. Nobody was fucking offended when Hillary Clinton said that Trump voters were deplorable. She was 100% right back then, especially the early adopters. The early adopters of MAGA are the biggest pieces of shit on the planet. I can't blame the rest of the Republican Party who looked at this rising tide and went, well, at least it's not a fucking liberal. I can't really blame them as much. But we do need to allow those people an off-ramp now. Because after what Trump said today, what Trump, the president of the United States, had to say about Rob Reiner today was so classless. It was so fucking lowest common denominator. He is, by writing what he wrote today, making it political, he's desperate and he's fucking scared because he's the lowest rated president in the history of the fucking ratings. He knows he's going to lose the midterm, and then what's going to happen? They're going to fucking impeach his ass right away. Then we get what? We get J.D. Vance? That's okay. He's easy to take down in the general. The fucking left is going to rise again, and that ain't good either. This is what we have. We're going to get President fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because you fucking inbred morons elected a goddamn criminal 2 times. Fuck, we're screwed. We're not going to, the next guy's not going to be reasonable. The next guy's not going to be like a moderate. No, the next fucking people is going to be the left's pound of flesh, and they're going to give us some fucked up choice. Peter says, I just read the Trump remarks. That is low. It's so fucking low. It is. It's not that it's low. It's that it's classless. It's classless. The president of the United States is the most undignified clown on Twitter. It's unbelievable. How did I even have any hope that maybe he could behave himself like a decent person? He's not. Everything is political to him. Everything is about winning in this moment. There is no leadership in this man. It's about mine. And let me make sure that people vote for me, because I'm going to make it okay for them to say the most fucking reprehensible shit. That's this man's great contribution. Carved into Mount Rushmore. You're kidding. He's going to die in prison. This man is going to die in prison. I am standing by that. He has zero class. That's right. Fuck you, Byron. No, Byron's right. Byron is right. And Byron is a good dude. And I know that Byron would never, if somebody that Byron knew, let's just make this more like, in our personal universes. Nobody is going, because, in the greater scheme at the 30,000 foot level, Trump and Reiner are both in the same universe to us. Whereas what they're also about up there. So in Byron, in your personal universe, there isn't going to be somebody that's going to die, maybe a guy you work with who you don't particularly like. You're not going to walk into work the next day and go, yeah, well, you know what? He was a fucking asshole. No, you're not, because you're a decent person, because we're all decent people, except for this motherfucker. He's not a decent person, or he knows that he can appeal to non-decent people or indecent people. Non-decent? Was that even a word? He knows that he can appeal to indecent people by being this far over the line. God damn, man. This is how you get me to do politics. This is how you get me to break bad on this motherfucker. I ignore all of the shit every day. I ignore the politically divisive nonsense every day. And then somebody who, if you just remove the politics, is a beloved contributor to the great American culture, and the president of the United States takes a shit on him. Ted Cruz. Want to see what Ted Cruz said? Here, let's look at this. Hold on, I'll show you what Ted fucking Cruz said. There we go. Hold on. Where's the thing that Ted Cruz said? Oh, okay, wait a second. No, I'll give you 2 of them here. Look at this. Yeah, we'll do 2. This is how it should be done. This is how MAGA, if you're going to be MAGA, this is how MAGA should do it, okay? First, let's look at this guy, right? This cat, James Woods. James Woods. Doesn't get more MAGA, more vocal. James Woods says, Rob and I remained good friends ever since we made Ghosts of Mississippi. The studio didn't think I was old enough to do the part, but Rob fought for me. Political differences never stood in the way of our love and respect for each other. I am devastated by this terrible event. Bravo, James Woods. Bravo, dude. That's how you do it. How about this one? Here you go. Look at this. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. Someone who I have zero faith in. Ted Cruz. I am deeply saddened by the horrific murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. He was one of the most talented movie makers to have ever lived, from Spinal Tap to When Harry Met Sally, from A Few Good Men to my favorite movie of all time, The Princess Bride. We are weeping the loss of a comedic and storytelling master. His movies touched us deeply and spoke to our fundamental humanity. Rob Reiner was one of a kind, and he will be missed. The tragic circumstances of his murder make it all the more horrible. Heidi and I are praying for his family. Rest in peace. Ted Cruz. That's how it's fucking done. That's how it's fucking done. All right. I don't even want to read what the president said. You guys can find what the president said. He attributed it to derangement, to Trump derangement system, and this is what happens when you're against me. I mean, guys, why did this man wake up and think that that was the path he should take? It's just ugly. All right, it is ugly. It sure is. Do we have anything else? I feel like we've got to. I'm sorry. I can't not do it, right? We've got to. All right, let's look at what the president said. Here we go. It's right here. All right, here we go. This is what our fearless leader woke up and said this morning upon hearing the news of Rob Reiner's passing. Donald J. Trump says a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star. Tortured and struggling? Struggling? The fuck, man? Struggling? Rob Reiner was not struggling. Rob Reiner is one of the few people who get any fucking thing he wants made in Hollywood any fucking time he wants it made. Look no further than the bullshit script that he directed and produced from his own son for Castle Rock Entertainment. The dude was not struggling. Hollywood studios make like 3 movies a year. They've got like 3 big movies that they'll push with big A-listers, right? Castle Rock, or whoever was, I guess Castle Rock was the production company. I don't know who distributed it, but whatever. Rob Reiner had the stroke to get one of them movies, just some vanity project from his kid. So struggling. So fuck you, Mr. President. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. A very sad thing. He doesn't give a fuck. He is so disingenuous. A very sad thing happened in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and uncurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. The man was murdered by his drug-addicted son. You know, drug addiction. The thing you're pretending to start a war with Venezuela over. The man was murdered by his son. And the president of the United States. This isn't a shock jock from Tampa, okay? This is the fucking president of the United States. He is unfit for the job. He's passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others. Reportedly. Where are you getting this from, Mr. President? What fucking nonsense sources are you fucking telling the American people that you use to guide us with? What sources are telling you that he was killed because of his political rhetoric? Because that's what the president is saying here. Caused through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. Being able to look at a fucking criminal and go, that dude's a fucking criminal, is not a syndrome. It's not. However, what you're doing by calling it a syndrome is gaslighting, something you've been doing since 2016. Nobody used the phrase gaslighting since that fucking movie in the 1930s until you came on the scene, and then everybody started going, oh yeah, it's gaslighting, that's right. Yeah, we're doing that now. at the highest fucking levels. This is gaslighting, telling his people that Rob Reiner died not because of what we all know to be true, but for something completely different. He died not because his son was addicted to drugs and fucking out of his mind. He died because of Trump derangement syndrome. You narcissistic piece of shit. Making it about yourself and turning it political. Well, I guess if my numbers were as bad as yours, you fucking ratings loser, I might be panicked myself. All right, so he died from Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. President of the United States goes on to say he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. Talking about yourself in the third person. That's not fucking crazy. That doesn't make you any fucking weirder than we already know you are. Third person in a post about yourself, you fucking freak. Sometimes referred to as TDS, he was known to have driven people crazy, capital, by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. I want this motherfucker in handcuffs by the end of the day. I'm sorry. Do we got a fucking general in the Pentagon that wants to fucking step up the coup plans? Because let's go. Let's fucking go. This is unacceptable. And it's not funny. It's funny. Again, it's funny when it comes from your favorite Tampa Bay morning zoo crew. It's not funny when it comes to the representative of us, we the people of the greatest country God ever fucking created. This is what the rest of the world sees. He's an asshole. All because what? You people don't like fucking... I'm so angry about this tweet. I tried to ignore it, but whatever. Why not? Let's go. I need a break. All right, that's it. Rob Reiner's dead. He was killed by his junky, fucked up son, and the president of the United States is a goddamn piece of shit. There you go. That's the first 2 hours of today's show. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to fucking take a breather, and I got to come back, and we got to talk about some serious things. We got a bunch of serious things still to go. It's going to be another one of these long shows, so please, if you can, tip the show. We'd appreciate that. Help us out. Help us keep going. Nothing fucks up tips more than a political rant, so I know that I'm fucked now, but that's okay. That's why I don't do politics. Help out the show if you can. We're going to talk about the situation happening at Brown University. We're going to talk about that crazy cavalcade of events on Saturday night. We'll break all of that down, what we know now, what we thought we knew at the time, and what the latest is. There is some breaking news about the Brown University shooter. We also have to talk about Bondi Beach, although I don't want to go into Bondi Beach. Look, man, after this whole Trump thing, you really think I want to go into this conversation about what are we doing to the Jews? What's fucking happening around here? And around here, I mean globally, I mean on this fucking planet. Bondi Beach. Horrible. I mean, my God, I know it didn't happen here and it happened on the other side of the world, but you know. I mean, my God. The videos that are coming out of this, so we'll talk about that. Then we got a bunch of other stuff. I got some light stuff, and I just don't know if we're going to be able to get to the light stuff today because I think this is going to be a real emotional and sort of hard, angry show. Shouldn't be. Because it's fucking Christmas time, man, you know? I mean, seriously, on some level, it's Christmas time, and we should get silly, have some fun. Oh, you know, like what I was telling you about here, I got an idea. I got to float it past the people who run this studio here. But I wanted to be on the air last night with Rob Reiner. I wanted to jump on and do a live stream. I wanted to be on the air on Saturday with the Brown University situation. I wanted to jump in. So I think I'm going to try and do that over the next couple of weeks. I think I'm going to try and do, as I call them, more bartending shifts. Instead of just doing a shift here from noon to whenever the hell we wrap this up, I'm gonna be on more. I want to try and do night stuff. So that might be something that's changing here in the next couple of days. So if you missed this show, maybe you can jump in on another show. I got to create content. My point is, when I do this noon show and I get like really into a conversation or a rant the way we just did politically, where I broke bad on the president, I don't really feel like talking about a study that says people who smell their own farts are smarter. You know what I mean? It's like kind of hard. So I almost need to like maybe break this stuff up in some way. I don't know. Right now I'm going to break it up by taking a piss. I need to take a piss. Once again, support the show if you can, all that good stuff. I love you. Give me a second here. I got to go to the bathroom and then we'll come right back. Okay. We got a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Talk radio for normal people back after this. Righty then, we are back. I gotta say, I just looked at my Twitter, and there was like 20 plus messages there for me. Oh, let me see if I can do this. Pull it up. No. Shit. How did I do that? The hell did I just do? Okay. All right. I just went and checked my Twitter notifications because there was a large number of notifications, and that's odd. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I go and I look at it, and I see that Frankie from the chat room, Frankie in the chat room has retweeted 82 of my tweets. 82. Frankie liked and retweeted 82 of my tweets. Fuck, Frank. Frank's the best. Frank's been around forever. Man, that's so awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you. And Frank always does it, by the way. Frank has never not retweeted and liked everything, but it looks like he just went deep and he just started. Oh, so thank you so much. And thank you to everybody else. Because remember, this show does run on your cash. Cash is how, we make it fly. But if you can't, because we all get it, we're in fucked up times, right? Everybody's struggling this Christmas. I get it. You can help the show in other ways, and you can help by sort of, working the algorithm for us. Like everything that I post on my social media. Obviously, I hope you're following me at Pugs Moran and Pugs & Co. But everything you see, like it. Even if you don't like it, because remember, it's not about you. It's actually just about you helping me. It's a way you can help me. If I'm getting more likes and more retweets and all that stuff, then the social media platform algorithm will kick in and they will help us, and that will grow the show. It really will. It really will. So thank you so much. Peter says I don't tweet. Yeah, well, Peter, here's the thing I know about you. I know that you are so dedicated to helping this show grow. I bet you're going to start tweeting. That's what I bet. Or not. Probably don't love the show for real. All right. I wasn't kidding when I said I had a story about how smelling your own farts is apparently a way to increase your brain power. So we will get to that. We will get to football. We will calm down. President made me mad, which is not often the case. I really do kind of, he makes me laugh and all that stuff. And he's kind of proven to me that the office of the president isn't that important, that it really is just a hood ornament for this country. Whoever the president is, he's a symbol. That's real. I mean, everything, the checks and balances, I guess that works to an extent. So, I've kind of gotten myself into a mind space where, like, this president, he's the comedian president. He's the funny president. I mean, he's not qualified at all and he's not doing a great job, but that's okay because we've bubble wrapped the presidency now where they really can't do all that much. They can't really start that much trouble. They can push policies that then, become problems down the road, but But that tweet, man, that tweet about Rob Reiner's death was a bridge too far for me. So I as I just took that break and walked around, I went, man, you know what? I'm just going to make the announcement now. I'm officially out 100%. I am no longer giving that man any sort of grace. I am not giving that man any kind of leeway. Nah, he's garbage. We're not talking about him anymore. There you go. But it does kind of, it does concern me because I know how we are. We're all people. It does concern me that there are an awful lot of people out there who married into this family, if you will, who became a part of MAGA a long time ago. And they've seen all this stuff. They're dug in. That's the other thing about a lot of MAGA people. They're very fucking stubborn. They're very dug in. But I think, and the problem on this is going to be the fucking libtards, as they're called, the lefty fucking libtards. They're going to be a real problem with this plan. But the plan is that the rest of us, we got to offer these people an off-ramp. we got to offer anybody who saw that tweet from today from the president and is like, you know what? That really is shitty. And he's been doing some shitty things over the years that have bothered me, but oh man, I can't admit I'm wrong. We've got to somehow, they're not wrong. You weren't wrong. We'll all agree, you people who want to exit this MAGA nonsense, we'll all agree to pretend like he suddenly changed. We'll all agree. We'll be like, yeah, good. As soon as you saw it, you came over. Good for you. That's fine. That'll be my promise to you. I will fucking pretend that this guy wasn't a goddamn obvious monster criminal from the very beginning if it gives you any kind of respite from the difficulty of transitioning back into civilized society. But we got to offer these people an off-ramp. Got to not be dicks about it. That's going to be hard for me because, I want to be like, yeah, who'd you vote for in 2016? Who did I vote for in 2016? Did I vote for anybody in 2016? Who did he run against? Who did he run against? Who did he beat? Oh, Hillary. Oh, that's the problem. That's the whole problem. He ran against Hillary. That's right. I forgot about that. How the fuck did they run Hillary? Why did the left run Hillary? What were they thinking? They did this to themselves. At some level, they did this to themselves. And you know what else I will say about this rising tide of MAGA over the last few years? If they have done anything good, and I do believe that this is good, this would be the one thing that I think they've done that's good. Well, they've done another thing that's good. They taught me a lot. Like, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about what we can get through or what we can get away with. I've learned a lot about how to get away with stuff. I've learned a lot about how everything's a fucking construct. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. It's all just, if you say no and they say, okay, nothing is real. The president of the United States has got 37 fucking convictions. He's got 37 convictions. He's the president of the United States. Even a rumor, a whiff of being indicted, just on a single count, the whiff, just I heard he's going to be indicted. That would kill anybody else's presidential campaign. This motherfucker was convicted on 37 charges and he was reelected, right? And he's president. And then when he became president, everybody else was like, well, wait a second, the rule of law and all that stuff. He's a convicted felon. And then remember when they just went, yeah, never mind. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, he's president now. So never mind. Never mind with the legal system. Never mind with the system of justice. I mean, that's really when I went, okay, interesting. I mean, you couple that with the Malaysian airplane that disappeared. That's fucking crazy. The night before that Malaysian airplane disappeared, I'd have been like, yeah, there's no way possible. I believe in the institutions. I believe in the construct. There is no way possible that a passenger plane carrying a bunch of citizens could just disappear. Not in 2025. They track those things from every second. They know where those things are in the air. And Nope. Not true. Not true. Also, motherfucking CSI. For a whole bunch of years, man, watching CSI, I'm like, nobody should ever kill anybody because they'll totally catch you. They don't catch anybody. They don't catch anybody. CSI is a TV show. That's nonsense. They don't catch anybody in real life. Well, very few people. Case in point, Brown University over the weekend. This is the other big story that we're following here. And this is the story that should be followed because holy, what is Saturday afternoon, I'm laying around not watching college football. I guess Army Navy was getting ready to start, but I don't. I've seen Army play. I've seen Navy play. I watch Notre Dame football. Okay, we play the service academies every year. And I know what horrible brand of football that is. Did you guys check out any Army Navy? My God, it was like watching special ed kids play full contact football. It was like terrible. It was just not great football, but whatever. Okay. Those are our brave soldiers and all of that, not our best athletes. It's a whole different kind of a vibe over there. Although every now and then, somebody pops out of one of the service academies. Usually in basketball, though, right? David Robinson being a great example. Played at Navy basketball and then grew himself out of submarine duty. Wasn't that the story with David Robinson? David Robinson was supposed to not be allowed into the draft because he had to fulfill his commitment to the United States Navy after being at Annapolis. And somehow he was allowed to skirt that because it suddenly became, even though he says now that he never even declared this, but on his official thing, it said that he was trained for submarine duty when he was already like 7 foot tall when he entered. He would never have trained for submarine duty, but that was the reason they allowed him in the draft. He grew himself out of submarine duty. He was never going to be in a submarine from the beginning, although maybe that was the plan. Maybe they knew it. Anyway, David Robinson, great man. Great man. Napoleon McCallum, you remember him? Napoleon McCallum, I think he's probably the only Navy football player that I know that played in the NFL. And he was good. He was a running back. That dude could run the ball. Anyway, Army Navy was bad football. So I'm laying around not watching football. And I start getting these alerts. From Providence, Rhode Island. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, why are there 2,500 people listening to the fire rescue from Providence? Because it wasn't even the police. It wasn't the county sheriff. It wasn't city police. Wasn't anything like that. It's fire. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to listen to the fire. Fire rescue is oftentimes early on in these breaking news stories. Fire rescue scanners are oftentimes more informative to listen to than police scanners. And I'll tell you why. Police are more aware of people listening to them on the scanners. And so there's protocols now for police and police communication. They have secret codes. They switch to different channels, all of that. Fire and rescue don't really worry about that. Fire and rescue. So in the case of a mass shooting where, they suddenly put a call out for 10 ambulances, it becomes very informative to listen to fire and rescue because you get firsthand from the first responders who are there, taking care of the casualties, the victims, and all that. So that's what was happening on Saturday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to this Providence fire. What is going on here? And then they start giving out streets, right? And I know it's Providence and I know it's streets. And they start saying where they're going. And they said some hall. They're going to something hall. And I'm not familiar with Providence, Rhode Island. I've never been there. So I'm thinking, okay, I got these 2 cross streets. What is this hall? So I pull up Google Maps. This is how I do. I'm a weirdo. I know. So on my phone, I got the scanner going, and now I got the laptop up, and now I'm trying to coordinate the addresses that I'm hearing that these responses are coming, and they're saying something about a hall. I'm thinking it's a concert venue. I'm like, what the hell is going on at a concert venue? Pull it up on the maps, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a college. This is not just a college. This is Brown University. Now, Pugs, what is that? I've never heard of them. Well, yeah, you've never heard of them if all you know about colleges is how they place in the NCAA tournaments. Brown University is one of the best colleges in America. It's an Ivy League school. It's one of the lesser profile Ivies. It's not a Harvard or a Princeton or a Yale or even a Columbia, but it is an Ivy. And it's there in Providence. So I'm like, oh shit, we got something going on this college campus. Then the hall, of course, turned out to be where a number of students on Saturday afternoon were taking finals. It was finals week before the Christmas break. And it becomes very clear from the police and fire scanner that we got ourselves a mass shooting, that we got ourselves a situation, and there's blood, there's bodies, blah, blah, blah. The fire and the fire and rescue, upon getting to the scene, they arrived on the scene apparently before the full breadth and width of the police response got there. They pulled back. They initially pulled back. And that's when I knew it was serious. When I heard the fire on the scanner say, everybody back. They use some terminology that I then deciphered as being like, this means pull back to outside. And then they said, wait for law enforcement to arrive. All right. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh shit. That means there might still be some shooting going on. That means the firemen are like, nope, we can't go in and treat these people because something crazy has just happened and we don't know what it is. Oh, so then, of course, you start following Brown University on Twitter. You start looking for Providence authorities, municipal police and, all that kind of stuff. Are they putting anything out? Avoid these areas. So the story is coming together pretty quickly there Saturday afternoon. And my blood is flowing because, I live for that stuff. Not necessarily the horrors of the details, but in the emerging story. Ooh, what am I going to learn next? What am I going to learn next that's going to completely upset me and make me hate humanity? So then they start talking about this shooting. All right, the original report's 20 dead. Not true, but that's the original. 20 dead. I didn't hear that. People said the initial reports that there were 20 dead on the campus of Brown University came from the scanner. Now, the only scanner that was available in the early moments was the fire scanner, and I was listening to it. Nobody said 20 dead, but whatever. That started circulating on Twitter. Turned out 2 dead. A number of others injured. I believe the number of injured could be as high as 16, was initially reported as 9. There were people walking in like 2 hours after the shooting which occurred at this classroom building. About 2 hours after the shooting, there was all of a sudden another call out on the scanner. At this point, I'm listening to the police. Now we know it's an active shooter and there's a manhunt. Because that was the other thing. There's always multiple shooters all over. That's that. Of course, that happened. There are assholes on, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook who somehow they just want us all to think that this is an invasion. This is a team. This is an assault team. There are many of them. Guys, I'm here to tell you I've covered all of these. There's never many of them. Except in the case of Bondi Beach, which would happen later that day. But that's Australia. There's never many of them. There's always one shooter. And then it became clear that the shooter was in custody. Shooter in custody. There was even video circulating. Oh, tens of thousands of hits, tens of thousands of retweets. Some fucking Chinese kid being handcuffed and put in the back of a police car. Very orderly, just one cop. I mean, it was probably like, a drunk driver or something, but whatever. They got this video and they put this video out. Here he is, the shooter being arrested. And I remember looking at it going, no, that is not how a mass shooter would be arrested and handled by police. That is one cop. But of course, he was Asian. So all of the comments then became, this is why we can't only have white people here, or whatever it is. The ugliness of social media. Then it became known that they didn't have anybody. Then it was, this guy still on the loose. Shelter in place. Run, hide, fight. Those were the calls that were being put out by Brown University. So just another shooting, this Saturday, all Saturday night. Did they find him yet? Are they looking for him? They said some weird shit at the press conferences for Brown University on Saturday night. One of the things that they said was that the shooter is not in custody, but we have no reason to believe there is anything for the community to be worried about. The chief of police said that. The shooter is not in custody. Somebody just walked into this classroom and just opened fire on everybody. He's in the wind. We don't know where he is, but you guys ain't got nothing to worry about. The fuck kind of statement was that? Crazy. I mean, I guess, your job is to comfort and, relieve of worry the members of the community, but you don't say something that doesn't make any sense. Like the guy who just slayed a bunch of students randomly is completely in the wind. We don't know where he is, but you got nothing to worry about. You live across the street. He's probably not in your bushes or anything. The fuck? So anyway, that was weird. It became clear that nothing was going to be rectified. And besides, I have alerts. If somebody got caught late at night, whatever, I'd wake up. So I went on to watch Saturday Night Live. More on that later. Wake up on Sunday and, oh my God, the internet is celebrating. We caught him. We got him. We got the guy. We got the shooter. The shooter was captured. Everybody was rejoicing. His picture was circulating. He was going viral. I myself looked up his Facebook page and all that. Yeah. Some kid from Wisconsin was in police custody, and let me tell you, we convicted him online. he was the guy. Enough people say it. It must be true, right? Yeah, no, it wasn't him. Boy, that one rando kid from fucking Wisconsin who decided to spend the weekend in Providence, he sure as shit he got his turn in the barrel. Because last night around 8 o'clock, they held another press conference there in Providence, and they said, "Oh yeah, we let that guy go. Oh yeah, you know the guy that all you guys are freaking out about online. That guy, yeah, he's gone. We let him go. It wasn't him. He didn't have anything to do with it." Whew. I'll tell you about that kid. I bet that kid is on the phone with lawyers today. I would be. I'm like, give me a lawyer who's going to sue somebody because I am certain that somebody with deep pockets forwarded this misinformation about my client. So here we are, 3 days later. We still don't know who walked into a classroom on the campus of an Ivy League American university and murdered a bunch of people. We have no idea. And we're not getting the Boston bomber treatment. Remember that? The Boston bomber, just a few miles away from where this occurred, the Boston bomber incident, that held us, the entire nation, by our throats for a week. As this manhunt was covered endlessly, nobody gives a fuck. I mean, they're just like, yeah, he's in the wind, but don't worry, you got nothing to worry about. We got a new piece of video, though. That is the latest update. They have released a new piece. Oh, where is it? Where did I lose the? You know what? I fucking lost. Jeez Louise. All right, it's okay. I'll find it. They had one piece of video for this whole incident. Well, give me a second here. Brown University. Okay. All right. So for like the first 24 hours, the first like 48 hours, because this new video is just new. They had one piece of video of the suspected shooter walking out of the hall, and you couldn't see his face, you couldn't see anything. It was terrible. Well, I don't like that one. Are these all this? Is every single one of these? Oh, okay. It was terrible. The video that they released in front of this hall on this gorgeous campus. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. I mean, I've got a new top 5 place that I want to live. I was using Google Maps and I'm driving around the streets. Brown University. It's gorgeous. Oh my God. These are wealthy. These houses are all like mansions. They're all people who live right there on campus. These houses are gorgeous. It is, for lack of a better word, picturesque. It embodies what you imagine the great American East Coast college campus to look like. It is beautiful. It is just beautiful. You telling me there's no ring cameras? You're telling me there's no kid that whipped out his phone and had video of this? There are no cars or Ubers that were driving by with dash cams. There is only one piece of video until the piece that was released a couple minutes ago. There was only one piece of video. I find this very hard to believe, and I'm not a conspiracy theory, right? I'm not one of these, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there was lots of video of kids huddling in the classroom. All of those got released and all that. But you are telling me there isn't anything other than one really bad, apparently security or surveillance camera from the university itself that shows somebody dressed in black walking backward. I mean, not backwards, but like you don't see their front. You don't see their face. You only see their back. It's like that person that we arrested last week for the January 6th pipe bombs. There was nothing to go on from that video, and there was nothing to go on from the video that they gave us. Now, here's a new piece of video that was just released. Let me make it big. I don't know how big we can make this. This purports to show the new suspect, or maybe he's the same suspect. I'm not entirely certain. Here we go. Let's watch this. Where is it? Okay, let's see how big we can make it. Oh, is that? All right, here we go. Here's... In this incredibly modern, super wealthy, highly elite town, Providence, neighborhood, campus, the campus of Brown University, Here's another piece of video. This is all we got in the age where everything is video. See, there's another construct, right? You'd probably be like, dude, you can't do anything without them knowing who you are. Hell, you just walk down the street and we got 1 million. No, that's fucking bullshit too. So the next time somebody says that to you, say, yeah, then point me towards the Brown University shooter. Because that motherfucker just vanished. So did the Charlie Kirk killer. There was nothing but really awful long distance video of him and not much of it. So stop it. Stop. Everything's a surveillance state. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We are 3 days. We are 3 days into the investigation of the Brown University shooter. And this is the best they can do. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see how close I need to get. I imagine we're all getting close. All right, zooming in. Oh, look at that. There's a shadow. There he is. Hey, I know that guy. Look at that. Look at that. It's all a construct, you guys. It is all a construct. The shit they want us to believe is true. Not true. It's the best we got on that. They're starting to release, the two people who died there. You can go read up about them. I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to now flip through pictures of dead people. It's, All right, so that is an ongoing story, and it really doesn't seem like it is being treated as seriously as it probably should be, as there is somebody who killed 2 people. Oh my God. Wait a second. Hold on. Do we have breaking news now again? Luke from General Hospital has died at 78. Anthony Geary has just died? Ugh, God. Hold on. Now I got to see if this is true. Jesus, that guy had like 3 years of being a superstar. And then never did anything else, right? Yeah, he's dead. Look at this. All right. We'll get to that. Wow. Thank you for that, Renzo. I don't know what you want me to call you. I'll call you whatever you want. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Maddie says, someone has to have a Ring camera video or some shit. Yeah, I mean, especially if you do like I do and just drive around that neighborhood. I mean, you'll see plenty of opportunities for there to be cameras fucking everywhere. But not only that, this was, I thought when this all happened, I thought that's Saturday on a college campus. What's the worst that can happen? Oh yeah, and then I was reminded, these are Ivy League study nerds. These people don't party on Saturday. This is Brown University. This isn't like Harvard or Princeton or Yale, where it's, a lot of really smart kids, but then also it's like probably 60, 70% just blue bloods whose daddies donate a lot of money, right? That's not necessarily the case with Brown. Brown is actually where like really fucking smart people are. So yeah, they were crowded. They were working on a Saturday a couple of weeks before Christmas. So there were people in these study rooms. They were packed. There were classes being held. And then when you drive around with the Google, you see. This is a wealthy neighborhood. That street corner right there, there's probably 3 cameras on there. Why aren't we accessing them? And then you go across the street and you drive down a block that's just got the most beautiful fucking homes, East Coast college town homes. I mean, we're talking like multi-million-dollar homes, $2 million home, $3 million home. We're talking about really not mansions, but fucking multi-million-dollar homes just the same. You're telling me they don't have Ring cameras. This person jumped in a car and we don't have a traffic cam. Anyway, I don't know. It is so fucking weird. So we are left with 2 choices, right? We are left with choice 1, conspiracy theories. We can go down that bunny hole. Well, no, it's a false flag. He was probably a CIA shooter who's a ghost. And right, there's that. That's choice 1. But then there's choice 2, which is the one that I go down. It's all a fucking construct. All the shit that we just think isn't real. We're not being watched at every moment. We can get away with shit. I don't know if that's a good message to take from it, but I do think it's better than dedicating, the rest of my life to hanging out in the basement on online arguing with people about fucking stupid shit. Oh, God. All right, Brown University. There we go. We'll cover that. That in, that is developing, ... That story we'll see. Chat room, let me know. Let me know if we make an arrest or if we get a video where we can actually see somebody. Such bullshit. Why do businesses all have security? All businesses have security cameras. I get it. We're going to have security, especially if you're dealing with the public, because we, the great unwashed, have proven that we need to be monitored. Why is it that every business that has one of these security cameras has like the resolution of a camera from like 1982? Why? Why, when every fucking phone... Have you ever seen amateur porn shot on a phone? It's like 10K resolution. It is ridiculous. And yet every time someone pulls a gun and kills somebody at a fucking Taco Bell, we get a surveillance camera that is just... Right? The fuck, man? I just don't get it. Leads me to believe that everything is a construct. Everything is bullshit. All right. So there you go. That's my take on it. You got to pay your taxes. No, you fucking don't. No, you really don't. Death and taxes. Now, the only thing is death. Death is the only thing. Death is the great equalizer. Death is the only true thing that each and every one of us has to contend with. And you would think that would be more of a bonding thing between humanity, but it's not. It's not. I am obsessed with death. In a good way, though, in the best possible way. My obsession with death has to do with a comfort with it and not living in fear and being worried about every little thing. Although I'll tell you, nothing will cause me to lose a night's sleep than discovering a new pain. That is a new pain. Oh my God, that hurts. I've never felt that before. That's new. Uh-oh, wrist cancer. Here we go. All right. One of the really interesting things that occurred on Saturday night that I thought was, wow. I mean, the absolute height of irony. Because, of course, most of us who are news junkies and follow the news and stuff like that, people are interested in news, and we were all following the Brown University situation as it unfolded live in prime time on Saturday night. Over at CBS News, I don't know if you're following what's happening in this. It's a real media nerd story, but CBS is now under the control of a young woman by the name of Bari Weiss. Now, there's a lot of people who don't like this. A lot of people are like, wah, and there's a lot of other people who are like, no, seriously, that's what it needs. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it either way. I'm familiar with Bari Weiss. Whatever. Okay, it's good. I think we let a new generation in. I think she's going to reshape the Tiffany network, and we'll see what it is. And it might be shit. It might be great. Who knows? Whatever. But certainly right now, people are very critical of what Bari Weiss is doing as the new leader of CBS News. Okay. So one of the first things that Bari Weiss did was she held a town hall. She had a CBS town hall. Weird, right? A network news doing a town hall in prime time. I mean, it was a Saturday. It wasn't prime time on a Wednesday, but still, it was a Saturday. Bari Weiss hosted a sit down and a conversation with Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk. Okay. Very nice. I don't know how much time they were going to give it. I had no interest in watching that, but I knew it was on. And I also thought it was a very smart move. Thought it was a really smart move, highly criticized by people who are looking for Bari Weiss' head in a jar. What is she doing? What is she? CBS is now Fox News. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. No, it's not. First of all, it's far too early to say that. But Bari Weiss simply doing a town hall where they sit down on CBS in prime time and talk to the widow of Charlie Kirk is not an indication of anything other than the fact that Bari Weiss, as I do, recognizes that there is a certain group of people in this country who will never tune in to CBS News. They won't. Certain people who will never tune into CNN or ABC or any of the lamestream media or anything like that. That's the problem that network news organizations are facing. It's that there isn't even a thought that people from a certain ideology would tune into them. And in order to be what CBS once was, or what any kind of network news once was, the only way you can get back there is you've got to get back to that whole Cronkite thing where all sides are represented equally, where nobody knew what Walter Cronkite was. I mean, retrospectively, people are now like, that old liberal. But at the time, nobody fucking thought he was on one side or the other. He was the most trusted man in America. News was news. It was information. It wasn't opinion. It wasn't information with a little agendized pushed, from the host. Here's the information, but here's what you should probably think about that information. That's not what Walter Cronkite was. And Barry Weiss understands that she needs to rebuild the reputation of CBS News, and so she's taken some shots. And I'll tell you, I thought it was a brilliant move. Have this person, is it Erica Kirk? Have this person on CBS. Let's see what kind of numbers you get for something like this, because I promise you, the people tuning in are not going to be your rank and file CBS News viewers. You are going to be attracting that Fox News audience, and you need to. She needs to, whether you like it or not. In order for CBS, in order for her to be able to fulfill what she was hired to do, which is change and rebuild CBS News into something that's relevant and not something that half the country just dismisses as lamestream, she's got to do stuff like this. So I kind of thought, that's interesting. Look at her. Look, I'll tell you what, if you want to out the fucking hard left liberals inside CBS News, just, take an accounting of the people who publicly went on Twitter and said, this is a destruction of, I see what side you're on. Journalists aren't supposed to have fucking political leanings or opinions. They're just not. And now it's normal for them to, because we only get our news from the journalists that vote the way we do, which is absolute nonsense and no way to learn anything. But Barry Weiss tried to do that. So she had the widow of Charlie Kirk. Of course, Charlie Kirk killed on a college campus by a gunman. Barry Weiss sat down with her on Saturday night, except irony of all ironies, it was blacked out all over the East Coast, preempted by another shooting on a college campus. I posted on Twitter, I said, I don't know if that's irony. I don't know what that is. Especially since it was pre-billed. Barry Weiss went around and she did all the interviews talking about what this was about. This was supposed to be a coming together moment, at least the way Barry Weiss intended it. She wanted Erica Kirk's message. And what amazing message. I'll tell you that I didn't really like Charlie Kirk. Well, I'll also tell you I didn't know who the fuck Erica Kirk was when Charlie Kirk was alive. But what she said about people who didn't like Charlie, what she said about political violence, everything that she said has been wonderful. Now, she has been canonized as a saint. She's a modern American saint. I get that. And, that's a little bit, but whatever. But she seems like a good woman, a widow who's been through a lot. I have other questions, but, we'll get to those. Those are for like when we're drinking. Then I'll offer those. But as far as, how she stands right now, as far as, I see her, seems like a woman who's been through a tragedy and she has said all the right things. And that's what this town hall was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about, look, here is somebody who has been through something that none of us should ever even whiff experiencing. And listen to the way she talks about it. Listen to what she says about her political opposition and all this stuff. It's supposed to be a wonderful coming together moment. And it was preempted all over the East Coast because of another shooting, which is kind of crazy. I mean, if this was like, Western Delaware Tech, they wouldn't have done it. But again, it was Brown University, an Ivy League university. How many people in newsrooms in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, Providence, wherever, Philly, wherever, all up and down the East Coast, how many of them have degrees from Brown? A lot. So it was covered. It was covered because it was a story that affected that part of the country. And that part of the country, unfortunately, if you were tuning in to see the Erica Kirk interview, you were preempted for most of the night with live coverage. I didn't get to see any of it. I saw some of the clips of the Erica Kirk thing, Again, not my kind. I wouldn't hang out with her. You know what I mean? Like, she's like a different kind of chick. But she's saying all the right things, and we can all have compassion and empathy for, you know, a woman who watches the man she loves be killed in such a way. And, okay. Anyway, moving on from that. Peter says that his parents, they watched Huntley and Brinkley. That, of course, would be Chet Huntley and David Brinkley. You had, who were the guys back then? So, CBS had Walter Cronkite, NBC had Huntley Brinkley, and ABC had, who was it at this time? I know Frank Reynolds was one of them. Was it Harry Reasoner? I know he was on 60 Minutes, but no, before 60 Minutes, I think it was Harry Reasoner. Because that's where they teamed. Isn't that why didn't they team Harry Reasoner with Barbara Walters, and that's why Harry Reasoner left, because he wouldn't walk with a woman? Something like that. I don't know. Maybe that was Hugh Downs. No, Hugh Downs came later on 2020. Whatever, doesn't matter. Peter's parents, they watched Huntley and Brinkley. No, Peter Jennings. Dude, what do you think? Peter Jennings was still in fucking high school at the time we're talking. Peter Jennings didn't come into ABC until the 80s. We're talking about like who in 1972 was anchoring the ABC News. Is it Harry Peterson? I think it was Harry Reasoner. That's who I think it was. I don't know, but I could be wrong. Anyway, Peter Jennings. What's the matter with you? You know how we got Ted Koppel? Here's a good one. Here's a good little media story. You know how we all got stuck with Ted Koppel for 40 years on Nightline because of the Iran hostage situation? Ted Koppel was like a junior reporter. He wasn't even an anchor. He was like a throwaway guy. And they decided, ABC, that they were going to do updates on the Iran hostage situation after local news at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern. And they needed somebody, and they're like, well, who can we just throw in every night? Is there anybody that's hungry? Is there anybody that's chomping at the bit? And they said, this little Ted Koppel guy. And of course, that became such a popular show. I tuned into it. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm watching every night at 10:30. What's the latest on the hostages? You got to understand. We didn't have apps. We didn't have the internet. We couldn't, check hashtags. We had to wait for when the news was given to us. Ted Koppel became a big star. And that show in that time period became so successful covering the Iran hostage situation that as soon as that resolved itself, they were like, we don't want to stop. Advertisers say they'll keep paying. And that was the birth of Nightline. Nightline. Nah, Maddie says Dan Rather. Dan Rather was Walter Cronkite's understudy. Dan Rather was around in the time period that we're talking about, but Dan Rather was like CBS's heir apparent. Walter Cronkite in the early 70s, he was getting a little bit old, so they needed to start grooming somebody to replace him, and that was Dan Rather. And that's what Dan Rather did. He hosted CBS for years after that. All right, yeah, let's move on. All right, what else do we have here? What else do we have to talk about? Okay, we did that. Bondi Beach. Don't want to talk about Bondi Beach. I'm not going to do this. I was going to do this. Maybe we'll save this for a time when I haven't already kind of ranted about a whole bunch of other things. Bondi Beach. I was going to get into the whole, what are we doing? What are we doing with Jews? Why are Jews back in the barrel? When did this happen? And when did it become, what the fuck? See, it's happening. I'm not going to talk about this. Bondi Beach in Australia over the weekend, they were having a Hanukkah celebration. Bondi Beach is and by the way, I can't sit here and pretend like I knew all this. I'd heard of Bondi Beach. It's like, I knew it was in Australia. I knew it was like their cool little beach. It's like the Malibu. It's like basically Bondi and Bondi Beach there, just outside Sydney, is like a really highfalutin, fancy area where rich people live. A lot of Australian celebrities live there. And it's their beach. It's Malibu, right? Okay. There also happens to be a very large and well-established Jewish community there in Bondi Beach. So it's Hanukkah, and there was a big Hanukkah celebration, and I don't know, like in the middle of it, two fucking Arab pieces of shit. Islamic fundamentalists, they're pieces of shit. Ooh, Pugs, you're so controversial. Ooh, why, Pugs? Why are you slamming Islam? I'm not slamming your average rank and file devotee of Islam. I'm specifically slamming the people who read that book and take from it a message of terror. That's who I'm talking about. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. I have some very provocative views about Islam, and my views on Islam are a little bit different these days than maybe my views on any other fucking religious or faith. Okay. Father and son. Hey, that's good. A father and son spending time together on a Saturday. A father and son grabbed a couple of bolt action rifles because apparently it's hard to get the ones that go down there. Took a couple of bolt action rifles and 2 handguns, and they just decided to walk on a pedestrian overpass walkway and start shooting a bunch of Jews who were celebrating Hanukkah down there at the beach. Yeah, it's fucking awful. I mean, do we watch the video? Is this something that we do? Oh my God, I'm getting pulled back into the darkness of our reality. Am I not? All right, I don't want to show it. There's video out there. There's a full 11-minute video. I want to move off this story. There's a full 11-minute video of these 2 fucking monsters who think that they're pleasing some god who is obviously a fucking jagoff. Just killing people. The only thing that's cool about the video is that we get to see them killed. Yeah, right there in the video. Want to see a terrorist die? Oh, there he goes. There's also a wild video of so as a father and a son, they were on this pedestrian overpass just taking pot shots with their guns at people, killing people. I think they killed 16. I think that's the number. I think 30 something are the ones casualties or people in hospital, whatever. It's a terrible situation and the numbers are irrelevant. 1 is too much. So it's a lot. It's bad. So just process that. So at some point on this pedestrian bridge, the dad decides that he's going to go climb down the bridge and he's going to just start, shooting. And some dude who is hiding behind a car saw an opportunity and he jumped out and he beat the fuck out of dad, took the gun away from him, then held the gun on him. And then the terrorist just walked away. There's a lot of criticism of this guy, and also a lot on the other side. Look at this hero. Look at this. And you know what? That's an incredibly brave thing to do. It's an incredibly brave thing to do, to be totally unarmed, see something like this going down. That's your fight or flight instinct, right? This guy had an ample opportunity to flee, and he didn't. He crouched behind cars. You can see it. You can see it in this 11-minute video. No, actually, that's a different video. But you can see the whole thing from a nice perspective. You can see where the gunman is, and you can see where the dude hiding behind the car is, and you can see every move that the guy who's hiding behind the car makes until the guy hiding behind the car finally lunges out, takes his back, takes him to the ground, takes the gun from him, points the gun at him, and the terrorist walks away. That's where I go, what? Wait, what? Now, that terrorist, the dad, we'd get to see him get his head blown off in a few minutes. So that's cool. We're like, well, he doesn't get away for long. But man, I don't ever want to be responsible for a human being taking their last breath. I don't. You guys can have whatever moral positions you want on it. I do not ever want to be responsible for the death of another human being. And I used to say when I was younger, if I was ever a governor, you'd love it if you were on death row because I'm fucking staying the execution of every single one of you motherfuckers. You can live like human veal. You can, but the cost of paying, what's the minimum? You could probably live on $2 a day, ramen noodles and water. I mean, I just don't want to be responsible for a person. I don't know about God. You know me, I'm Mr. Journeyman. I'm just going through life. Faith is a beautiful thing. And if it connects with you, God love you. No particular faith has really connected with me other than the morals and principles that were instilled to me by really good people who raised me, chief among them my mother. So I'm a seeker, right? But morally, Morally, I just can't. I don't know. I don't know if there's a God out there judging me. I don't know that we're all his creatures. And am I taking the life of a creature? I don't know. I just don't want to be responsible for it. When people violate the rules of a civilized society, I think we dig a hole, we drop them in the hole, and we keep them alive, but we remove them from said civilized society. That's what it is. I'm not paying for prisons. Well, that is the price of a civilized society, asshole, especially a morally centered civilized society. Why don't we just murder them all? See, that's where we're not morally centered now, my friend. Well, I don't know. I love Jesus. No, you don't. No, you don't. You say you do. You joined the Jesus Club and you're running around talking about how you're a man of God, but you're also saying that we should kill them all. So I'm starting to think that maybe the message didn't take with you, dude. But yeah, you know me. I'm the godless son of a bitch who won't go to church and give you my money every week. But I'm the bad one. So I get this guy. This guy took the gun away from him, right? And then the guy is pointing the gun at the terrorist, and he lets the terrorist walk away. And I understand. I understand his dilemma. I understand. I don't want to take a person's life. Life is serious. Life is real. Pulling this trigger changes who I am forever. I get that. But don't you got to take his thigh out? Like, don't you got to take his knee out? Don't you got to do something to make sure that he doesn't? Because what he did was the terrorist just slowly walked away from the dude holding the gun at him and went back and rejoined his son up on the bridge. Now, moments later, a cop would take his hat off. So, there is some satisfaction to be had. But the guy that jumped him, took the gun away from him, and then let him walk away, then just put the gun down on the ground by a tree and walked away from it. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, wait a second. The son is up there on the bridge. At some point, the son realizes what's going on with his dad, and the son starts firing over at the action. So what's to stop the dad from just walking up to the tree, re-picking up the gun that was just why? And he could do this if his son was laying cover for him. But this guy just let him walk away. And I look, this is, we're complicated. People are complicated. That little situation that we watched there, yes, he's a goddamn hero. He ain't no coward. He is a real man who, when the rubber hits the road, he is willing to risk his own life for the benefit of total strangers. And that's what he did. God damn, that should be applauded. Then he let the dude walk away. Then he just let the dude walk away. I don't know, man. I'd have winged him. I'd have made sure he couldn't walk away. I'd have made sure that when this thing settles down and the police start cleaning up the scene, that this guy is laying in the field with half his leg blown off, right? You got to do something. I don't want to be responsible for a man's death, but I can probably explain my way out of a man's maiming if I'm up there talking to God, Yeah, this is interesting. Adam says, if a cop saw a dude with a rifle in the chaos of the scene, yeah, if a cop saw a dude with a rifle, yeah, man. I know, I get that too, right? And we saw that unfurl, that whole situation unfold. I think unfurling is a flag. Unfolding is a situation. We saw that situation unfold later in that 11-minute video that captures the whole thing. We know now that it was a father and a son. And if you know that going in and watching the video, it's easy to tell which is the father and which is the son. And these are the two aggressors. The father gets killed first on the bridge. Boom, father goes down. Then it's just the son left. And the son is now getting braver and braver. Obviously, he doesn't care if he dies. He just watched his dad's head get blown off. So he's standing there Ramboing it. And then they get him. Boom, he gets hit. You see him go down. Then civilians who are hiding and have a plain view of what's happened. Then civilians start yelling, "They're down, they're down," letting the cops know that you can now move in on the bridge, right? Very nice teamwork kind of thing happening here in the chaos of the moment. At this point, a third person, appears on the bridge. Remember, the two people that we've been watching who we know are the shooters, those two people are down. We know the shooters are down. Now a third person is there. He's also dressed in black, which is a little confusing, although he's wearing like board shorts. He's now on the bridge. Ostensibly, his job, or what he thinks his job is to make sure that the terrorists are dead, to let the cops know. But the cops don't know who the fuck this guy is because they just showed up. So they start shooting at him. Damn. And he immediately drops to the ground. His hands are up. You can see him. He's like trying to let them know, hey, I'm not one of them. I'm somebody else. So then the police do converge on the bridge, and we're seeing this in the video. The police do converge on the bridge, and they proceed to fuck this dude up because they don't know who he is. He's on the bridge, standing next to the bodies of two dead terrorists. He's wearing black just like them, so they fuck him up. Police start throwing him around and blah, blah, blah. He's not one of the terrorists. Police start throwing him around. Then the crowd of people start descending on the bridge. Crowd of people show up. They don't know dick about what's happened. They were just traumatized. They don't know what they're seeing. They assume this guy that the cops have detained now is one of the shooters. So they, the crowd, the mob, begin stomping him. There's video online, very proudly. One of the terrorists gets his head stomped. It wasn't one of the terrorists. It was this fucking dude who butted in trying to be a civilian hero who the cops thought initially was one of them. And it was crazy. Goat says that the hero was also a Muslim. Yeah. How great is that? I mean, good for that side, right? Good for that side. I always say about any minority that feels like, they're getting put in the barrel unfairly, police your own. Stop being like the parent who gets told by the school that their kid's an asshole, who then makes excuses for him. Well, he's not an asshole. You're just not a good teacher. You know what I mean? If someone from the outside consistently tells you that your kid is an asshole, your kid might be an asshole. Stop defending him and try and figure out what it is that other people are seeing about your kid that you're missing. Same thing with policing your own, man. Stop it instead of every time, you talk about the gangbangers on the corner who once again sprayed bullets all over the neighborhood. Stop being like, well, it's just the police. It isn't. No, stop it. Police your own. Regulate your own communities. All of us. If this is where we are now, see, I thought we were a melting pot, but apparently we're not. Apparently we're just a whole bunch of disparate groups who should stay in their own neighborhoods. Police our own, man. I try to do that. I try to tell other big, dumb, fucking middle-aged white guys to fucking smarten up. So everybody should do the same. So that was good. We saw a Muslim guy jump in there. He's like, I got him, proving in that moment that not all Muslims are terrorists. A lot of people think that. He was a hero for half the video. He was a hero for half the video and then a human being for the other half, right? That's how I would sum up the actions of the dude who took the gun away from the terrorist and then let the terrorist walk away. You got to shoot him. He turns his back, you shoot him right in the ass. That'd be a good one. I'm going to blow your ass cheek off. You're never going to poop normal again. You're going to survive this because I don't want your death to be on my soul as I travel through whatever the fuck is next. But I'm going to make it so that you don't shit right ever again. Boom. That's a pretty rough one. Could you imagine that? That's a bad one. All of a sudden you got to shit different for the rest of your life because... All right. That was the Bondi Beach thing. The video is out there. I was going to show the video. We were going to break it down, but this show has been so heavy and we're already 3 hours into it. I you know what I mean? Too much is too much. All right, let's see here. We went through the Bondi Beach. We talked about Brown University. We covered Rob Reiner. I lost my shit about the president and what the president tweeted out about Rob Reiner. We talked about Eric Kirk being preempted Heisman weekend. All right, I would like to echo Diego Pavia when I say, fuck the voters. Fuck the Heisman, but they got it wrong. They got it wrong. I'll tell you what they did get right. They did get right that Julian Sayin of Ohio State. No, stop it. Good quarterback. But just because he goes to Ohio State and it's Ohio State and he's the new quarterback, then don't fucking just by default make him a Heisman Trophy finalist. Julian Sayin didn't belong there. He didn't belong there. Of course, the winner of the Heisman Trophy, Fernando Mendoza. See the first Mexican? See the first Mexican Heisman? Heisman! Hola! Is he going to be wearing it around his neck? Look at me making jokes about my Mexican friends. I spent enough time in Texas to know I can make Mexican jokes. No, honestly, man, this is one fucking hell of a story. Okay, look, I honestly believe that Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame, was the best fucking guy with the ball in his hands in football this year. He's amazing. It's all right. He's going to be a top draft pick. He's going to go somewhere. I'd love him in a Bear uniform, but we ain't going to get him because we're good now. We get bottom drafts. He's terrific. He is. I've watched Notre Dame football since I'm 5 years old, but long before I was watching Bears football. I was watching Notre Dame football with my grandpa. And I can honestly tell you, there has never been anybody in a Notre Dame uniform that was more exciting with the ball in his hands than Jeremiah Love. And, Jerome Bettis, up until this point, Jerome Bettis was my favorite Notre Dame running back of all time. I loved the bus. But Jeremiah Love is a completely different kind of running back than the bus. Rocket Ishmael. Woo! Ball in his hands. Open field. Just give him room. Rocket Ishmael was amazing. Jeremiah Love is better than all of them. Jeremiah Love should be the Heisman Trophy winner, but apparently we only give it to quarterbacks. Well, that's not true. I know we don't only give it to quarterbacks. Didn't we give it to Genty last year? Didn't Genty win it last year? So we gave it to a running back last year. I think. Well, we can't give it to we can't do two running backs. This running back is better than Ashton Genty. Jeremiah Love is better than Ashton Genty, and Ashton Genty was last year's winner. Okay. That being said, I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier that Fernando Mendoza is your Heisman Trophy winner, quarterback out of Indiana University. I could not be happier for Indiana University. I could not be happier for Kirk Signoretti. Is that how we're saying it? His last name, whatever? You want to talk about the hottest coach in all of coaching. This head coach of Indiana University took a school that, you got to understand, maybe you don't really pay attention to it, but I'm sure that, whether you're an SEC or a Big 12 fan or whatever back in the day fan you were of what conference, that there's always a team that's a doormat. Well, I'm a Big 10 kid, grew up in Big 10 country. Everything is about Big 10 football up here, except for Notre Dame. We're an independent. Indiana was the joke. Indiana, like Northwestern wasn't the joke. Northwestern didn't have good football teams, but Northwestern was a really good school. Northwestern was like fucking Harvard. So it's like, that's all right. They don't have to be good at football. They're fucking Harvard on the lake. But Indiana was just garbage. That's a basketball school. You're going to play football at Indiana? Name somebody who played football at Indiana, not named Fernando Mendoza. Antoine Randall L? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, they were a doormat forever. And now they're better than Ohio State. They're better than Michigan. They're better than Wisconsin. It's an incredible turnaround for a school that is a great school. Indiana University is a great school. It's a great college. But it's always been associated with Bobby Knight or John Mellencamp. Or maybe the movie Breaking Away. At any rate, Indiana in football has always been a doormat. And over the last 2 seasons, didn't we all think it was a fluke last year? We all thought that Indiana last year, they had a great season last year. We thought they were a fluke. Certainly us Big Ten watchers were like, whatever. And then they come back this year and run the table. They're the number 1 team in America. They're the number 1 team, and they deserve it. It's not like, sometimes you see these teams and they creep up to the top 5 and you're like, yeah, well, wait till they play Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or whatever it is. That ain't Indiana. Indiana can walk in. It's because of this coach. It's because of this fucking transfer portal quarterback who's now, I think, the first Mexican to win the Heisman. So congratulations to Fernando Mendoza. And by the way, when you saw all of the Heisman Trophy finalists standing next to each other, before they announced that Mendoza was going to win it, I looked at it and I said, Mendoza's the real NFL guy here. Mendoza, you look at him, he looks like an NFL quarterback. He's tall, he's thin, he's stoic. You know, he's not the... Then you got like this other guy who took all of the fucking headlines on the next day instead of all of the sports stories being Fernando Mendoza in upstart Indiana wins the Heisman. Hey, that's a wonderful story. Instead, what we got was the assholery of Vanderbilt runner-up Diego Pavia. This fucking guy. So the runner-up was Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, who is just... had no opinion of him until Sunday. Had no opinion of him until the way he reacted to not winning the Heisman. Now, I'm not talking about some cutaway that a camera caught of him rolling his eyes and being upset after not winning. No, I'm talking about the shit that he put out on social media in the hours following him losing the Heisman. What a piece of garbage. What a piece of garbage. More and more people totally comfortable being a public piece of garbage. Shame? People have no shame anymore. I wonder where that came from. So this fucker, this Vanderbilt quarterback, Diego Pavia, decides to go out. He parties. He hits the town. He gets drunk. He starts tweeting bullshit. Here, what did he tweet? Let's see here. Here's one of the things that he tweeted. Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, the Heisman Trophy runner-up, apologized on Sunday for being disrespectful in social media posts that he'd made after Indiana's Fernando Mendoza won the award for college football's best player. Here's something that he posted. F all the voters. Pavia wrote Saturday night on his Instagram story with a thumbs down emoji. But family for life. Fuck all the voters, but family. Is your family as fucking classless as you are? You understand that when you're the runner-up for the Heisman, you understand that the only acceptable tweet is I would like to offer my congratulations to Fernando. I'd like to offer, how would I say it? I would say it nice. I would like to offer my congratulations to Indiana's Fernando Mendoza. It was wonderful competing against you, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. That's what you say. You don't say, fuck all the voters, yo. Fuck all the voters, yo. The caption accompanied a photo that Pavia had taken. Let's see here. It says Pavia faces criticism for his reaction, and on Sunday he posted a statement saying he didn't handle his emotions well after losing. By the way, there's also a picture that he posted of him standing in front of a digital sign, like he's in his party clothes. He's in New York. He's just lost the Heisman. He's running around with his boys. He's probably drunk off his ass. He's being an asshole. And apparently there's a sign or something that he took a picture in front of it that said "Fuck Indiana." Dude, what? Fernando Mendoza didn't do anything to you, dude. What is that about? What a jerk. I mean, just tell on yourself, why don't you? Why don't you just show us all who you really are? More on that in a minute. Here's what he says. It says, being a part of the Heisman ceremony last night as a finalist was such an honor. As a competitor, just like in everything I do, I wanted to win. To be so close to my dream and come up short was painful. I didn't handle those emotions well. I didn't handle those emotions well at all and did not represent myself. Hold on. I'm sure he's going to go into his program, Vanderbilt University. I didn't handle those emotions well at all and did not represent myself the way I wanted to. I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters, the ones you said, fuck all you. I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters and the selection process, and I apologize for being disrespectful. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry. Fernando Mendoza is an elite competitor and a deserving winner of the award. I have nothing but respect for his accomplishments. as well as the success that Jeremiah and Julian had this season. That's Jeremiah Love and Julian Sayin, Ohio State quarterback and Notre Dame running back. I've been doubted my whole life. Every step of my journey, it doesn't fucking matter. Don't fucking know. Just apologize. Don't try and make us feel sorry for you now, you narcissistic asshole. Seriously, never do this. People do this all the time. I just want to say I'm sorry for doing what I did, and I just want to wish my victims speedy recovery. And it's not, I don't know what I was thinking. I gotta let my emotions get the best of me. But you know what? I was raised in a home where, shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares about your excuses, man. Fernando Mendoza is an elite competitor, blah, blah, blah. I've been doubted my whole life. Every step of my journey, I've had to break down doors and fight for myself because I've learned that nothing will be handed to me. My family has always been in my shut the fuck. I'm not even going to read anymore. I'm not even going to read anymore. You lost. You revealed who you really are. Not this after the fire, let's try and fix it post where you're like, being a part of the Heisman ceremony was such an honor. Fuck that. That's not the real you. The real you is the one who is out there going, fuck the voters, hey, fuck Indiana, running around looking like a Miami street pimp. Yeah, gold chains and all of that. Oh, Pugs, now you sound like a middle-aged man. No, what I sound like is somebody who is seeing a kid who is so fucking stupid he doesn't realize the millions and millions of dollars that he is leaving on the table. Maybe not at all. I don't even know if this fucking kid is draft worthy, because let me tell you something about this Pavia kid, whatever we're calling him, Diego Pavia. The NFL is not looking for Johnny fucking Manziel in Doug Flutie's body. Okay, kid? You already had a serious uphill battle. He's only like 5'10", or what? He's tiny. So I said, you should have seen him and Sayin and Mendoza all standing next to each other. I'm like, well, I'm drafting the tall one. But there's one that's like 6'5" and looks like a quarterback. And then Julian Sayin is like 6 foot tall. And then little tiny Diego Pavia, the guy who acted like an asshole. Little tiny Diego. Dude, you're fucking tiny. What you did at Vanderbilt was great. And that might have gotten you, I don't know, at the worst, a walk-on. Maybe at best. You're a fourth or a fifth round flyer that a team might take because you've got heart and they've dubbed you a tryhard. But not now, Diego. Not now. Now, not only are you a project because you're built like Doug Flutie, but now you're also showing that you have the mentality of Johnny Manziel, and that ain't gonna fucking work. Doug Flutie was a soldier. Doug Flutie was in the books. He was in the rooms. He learned. He maximized absolutely every opportunity he was given. You know who didn't? Johnny Manziel. You know who you're built like? Doug Flutie. That's fucking not going to get drafted. And he did it to himself. He did it to himself. Diego Pavia. Good luck. Good luck with that. All right. There you go. And congratulations to Fernando Mendoza of Indiana University. That kid's a player. Kid's a player. He looks like a quarterback. I'm telling you, he's going to be a first-round quarterback. He's going to be a first-round quarterback, and after 2 games, people like Adam Reiner are going to be calling for him. He's a bust. He's a bust. Because that's the world we live in now. If you're drafted as a quarterback, you don't sit the bench the way you used to until a couple of years ago. You know that weird about drafting quarterbacks? I don't know if you Cowboy fans need to worry about it, but we Chicago Bear fans, we've spent a lot of time on the idea of drafting quarterbacks because we've drafted a lot of them. Yeah, never mind. I don't want to get into that. I was like, should I get into some football talk? No, we're not going to do any football talk. All right, let me see here. What else do we have for you today? The Heisman winner. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so this is kind of the same thing. Friday after we left, Sharon Moore. That's right, Sharon Moore, former head coach of the Michigan University football fighting Wolverines, made his first court appearance Here, let's see this. It was wild, man. Here it is. Well, not wild, but
from his employment. He then, at some point soon thereafter, came to her apartment in the address that is alleged in the complaint, barged his way into that apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. And a series of very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly.
Are you still hearing it? Oh, how fucked up was that? I don't know. Computer suddenly didn't want to. I couldn't pause. I couldn't do anything. It wouldn't work. So whatever. There he was, sitting there. That guy was on top of the hill. That guy was king of the mountain. It's a couple of days ago. Head coach at the University of Michigan. Woo! What, $10 million a year? Well, I mean, that's what big time programs pay out now. Look at me sitting there in a white jumpsuit. Even got called out by Saturday Night Live on Saturday. The cold open. President Trump, the imitation of President Trump. Called out Michigan head coach Sherrod Moore. Let's see, where are we? All right, let's get out of here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place because this has been a crazy emotional show with me ranting. It hasn't been light. It hasn't been fun. That'll be tomorrow's show, I promise you. Yeah, I'll do that story tomorrow. Those are all stories for tomorrow. We'll do those stories tomorrow. Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll do this one. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, since I just referenced it. So we here at Radio Misfits, we've got this really cool show on Radio Misfits called That Show Ain't Been Funny in Years. It's Nick DiGilio. He's great. He's got a book out. He's promoting his book now. That Show Ain't Been Funny in Years is it's a show about Saturday Night Live. And if you're a Saturday Night Live person like me, and again, I don't disagree with you when you say shit like that was stupid. 70% of Saturday Night Live is fucking stupid. They miss 70%. That's a dumb joke. That's a dumb bit. Oh, when is the sketch going to be over? But it's that other 30% that are the cornerstones of American comedy and culture of the past 50 years. And that's undeniable. So yes, I look at Saturday Night Live as something different than just a fucking show that, that show thumbs up, that show thumbs down. It's the fucking Ed Sullivan Show. That's what Saturday Night Live is. It has pushed the cultural narrative for so long now, we take it for granted. So I still do tune in just to check it out. And because I'm desperately afraid of aging out of relevancy. So tune into a show that seems to, drive the narration. Turn into the show that seems to be, on the tip of what's relevant and what's being discussed. Certainly satire and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm a big fan of that show, and I'm trying. Ed's like, you gotta go do Nick's show. I'm like, well, invite me to do the damn show because I got something I want to talk about. Because there was something happening on Saturday Night Live this season that I don't know when I've ever seen it before. I mean, I do know when I've seen it before. I saw it once before. Once before that I can absolutely say this is very similar to that trajectory, and that's Eddie Murphy. I haven't seen this on Saturday Night Live since Eddie Murphy. Maybe Will Ferrell. What I am seeing is somebody go from absolute obscurity on Saturday Night Live into the star of the show, the unquestioned star of the show. And why is this so interesting? It's because this person isn't even a cast member. Ashley Padilla. I want to talk about Ashley Padilla for a minute because I am just so confused by what I'm seeing here. My son and I started to track this because my son and I watch Saturday Night Live every week. We text back and forth and all that stuff. And, he's a big fan. He's a big fan of all of this stuff. He's comedy writing and all that stuff. So we do this thing where, the hot factor, who's getting the most screen time? Who's in the most sketches? Who is the person that they're writing for, or who is the person that's presenting ideas to be built around them that is getting screen time? I don't know. It's interesting for us. I know it's probably not interesting for you at all, but And it's almost always very well balanced. And there's always about 3 or 4 people who are the unquestioned stars of the show. If you were to point to the end of last season, you could easily say that Bowen Yang and Bowen Yang, Mikey Day, and who is the girl, the little girl, the gross out girl. She's got whatever. It's not Chloe Fineman, Sarah Silverman. Sarah Shine. Whatever, the Sarah girl. Those were the 3 at the end of last season who it looked like were the ones that were ready to emerge. No. This new season starts and they've got a bunch of new featured players. Featured players are nothings. Featured players. Stop it, Maddie. I'm sorry, Maddie just distracted me. Featured players make nothing. They make the bargain basement. They're used as scene fillers most of the time. You know, when the actual cast members of Saturday Night Live are driving the sketch, there's always a star of a sketch and a comic driver. Okay, that's the balance of a Saturday Night Live sketch. Is there is a star of the sketch, and then there is the person who drives the comedy of the sketch. Oftentimes, they're 2 separate people, but on rare occasion, they're the same fucking person. Ashley Padilla has been that same fucking person consistently this entire year. She came out of nowhere. Again, a featured player. We went over this stuff, a couple of months ago when they announced the new featured players, and she was one that I said, she's I don't know who that is, but whatever. And we moved on to Veronica Slowaskawa, who had been in What We Do in the Shadows and all that shit. And I'm like, she's going to be the breakout. That's who I called. I called Veronica Slowaskawa the breakout from this season of Saturday Night Live, and she's not on TV at all. She's getting 0 screen time. Ashley Padilla is everywhere. Yeah, I know she was on last. She was also a featured player last season too, April. Thank you. She's pointing that out. So she isn't completely new, but she wasn't used at all. And then something happened between last year and this year. Not enough to get her promoted to full cast. You better believe she's going to be full cast next year. She might even be full cast when the show comes back after the Christmas break. Now, that I don't think has ever happened before. I don't think somebody in the same season has gone from a featured player promoted to the full cast. I can't name it. But I also can't remember when one single performer on Saturday Night Live was so featured. Not just featured, focused on. So here, my son and I were doing these notes from Saturday. We were tracking the sketches and we were assigning points. It's like we're creating a whole fantasy thing for Saturday Night Live. It's crazy. We're weird, but whatever. Father and son. It's what we do. All right. So the show started with a cold open. Saturday Night Live always starts with a cold open, right? And then it's the theme song and then the host. Cold open was a President Trump bit. The one thing that guy, J. Austin Johnson or whatever his name is, he's not on enough for us to really commit his name to memory. Very funny as Trump, but that seems to be all he does. So he is, the premise is that they're on Air Force One and Trump is coming out to talk to the assembled press and blah, blah, blah. It's a one person bit. He's driving it. The whole point of this sketch is his Trump impersonation. It's very funny. There will be other cast members who are playing the role of reporters who will be shouting out questions, right? So you get it. For some reason, they introduce Ashley Padilla. Ashley Padilla is brought into this sketch. She's now apparently Carolyn Levitt. She is now going to be playing Carolyn Levitt on Saturday Night Live. I guess they're going to start featuring her, the way what's her name? Tina Fey did Sarah Palin. It's big. If you can get somebody, it's how people guarantee their jobs on Saturday Night Live. If you're the guy who imitates the president who's in office, you can pretty much bank on you being in the cast next year because you're their Trump or you're their this. It's Carolyn Levitt. Now that they're now going to give her a spotlight character for her to portray Carolyn Levitt. Okay. And they introduce us to this in the cold open, the very first thing that you see. So if you're on your scorecard, you're like, holy shit, there you go. A featured player. Featured player is being given a prime role as a real person that she can really in future episodes probably stretch out with. That's big. Okay. So there you go. Ashley Padilla shows up in the cold open as the co-star to the Trump guy playing Carolyn Levitt. We have it. I think we have that here. We'll watch this. Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Let's see if this.
Oh, how great is Caroline Levitt? We love her. Oh, she's got a beautiful face.
Sorry.
And those lips that don't.
Hold on. I don't know why this is being weird. Bum, 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 bum.
Face and those lips that oh, how great is Caroline Levitt? We love her. Oh, she's got a beautiful face and those lips that don't quit. Okay. Pretty amazing that I could just openly simp over my young blonde subordinate. It's giving Michigan football coach. Can we get a close up? Let's get a close up on the mouth. It's one of my top mouths.
No, if they.
Oh, I love that mouth.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right, well, so they're introducing her now. Now, this, of course, you guys, if you listen every day, we did this last week. I did the haircut thing. I was like, Jesus Christ, she's in every bit. So the new show comes on, and my kid and I are like, geez, you think they're going to fucking force Ashley Padilla down our throats again? And my son's like, I hope so, because my son likes her. My son's like, she's really funny. I go, yeah, she is pretty funny, but she's everywhere on the show, and that's what I don't understand. So cold open, theme song, it's Saturday Night Live, and then it's the host. The host comes out, does his monologue, and then it goes to a commercial, and then you've got sketch one. Sketch one is the sketch that they are most proud of. Sketch one is typically the biggest sketch of the show. It's the one that they are absolutely sure is going to make the rundown. It's sketch one. It's a game show where there are 3 contestants. It's a dating game show. One of the contestants is an elderly person. That is, of course, the comic driver, and that is, of course, the featured player, Ashley Padilla. So she co-starred in the cold open, and then she stars and comic drives the first sketch. Second sketch is some recorded thing. Ashley Padilla is one of the funny people featured in the recording thing. Third sketch. I forgot what the third sketch was. I don't know, but she was the star of the third sketch. Featured player. Then there was another sketch later in the show about a bachelorette party where the strippers were sensitive strippers, and they were, the bachelorette party, they danced for the bride and all that. She played the bride. That was an ensemble sketch with all the other girls being given their opportunities to be funny, but she played the bride. There was another sketch later on. Featured a kid who was dependent upon his mommy, right? I think I didn't watch the whole thing, but I think the premise was that he, one of these kids that graduates college at 12, right? So whatever. So he's in college and he's with all these, and he's dependent on his mommy. And of course, his mommy is Ashley Padilla. Another sketch, Bowen Yang, who is, if you're walking the halls, Bowen Yang will probably tell you, I'm the biggest star on this show. Bowen Yang gets his little featured bit where he plays an eccentric doctor. And who does he choose to be his eccentric doctor assistant? Ashley fucking Padilla. My God, the only thing that she wasn't a part of on Saturday Night Live was the host monologue and Weekend Update. And let me tell you something. I fully expected her to be on Weekend Update because she has done a number of desk pieces already. It's incredible. I haven't seen this. Not since Eddie Murphy has somebody been pushed the way that Saturday Night Live, for some reason, is pushing Ashley Padilla. She's very funny. I wish her luck, but it's fucking weird. All right. Yeah, Maddie says Bowen is getting that sweet, sweet, wicked money. I love him, but he's fine. Let Ashley Padilla get her flowers. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think that they see that Bowen Yang is who they probably think is their bankable star, but he's this will be his last season. Bowen Yang will leave after this season, and you're probably right because of that sweet, sweet, wicked money. The only thing I disagree with you on this thing is that I do not like Bowen Yang. I think Bowen Yang was forced down our throats. I think that he is mid. I think that if I was to make a list, of everybody who's been on Saturday Night Live, and we're talking about hundreds of names, he would not be in the top 100. I think that he is, God, he tries too hard. He has no range. He plays the same character in every fucking sketch. I'm not a Bowen Yang fan. You know who I am a fan of, though? Who I really do like, who is quietly kind of like glue on this show. He's been there for years now, and he's never really stood out except when you look at the full body of his work and you go, holy shit, that guy's funny. And that's Mikey Day. Mikey Day is really funny, and he has put together an incredible sizzle reel of stuff that he has done on Saturday Night Live. But he's, again, even Mikey Day now is one of the elder statesmen of Saturday Night Live. He's probably on his way out. So, all right. What else do we have? Didn't really intend to talk about that for that long. No. Nope, don't want to do that. Nope, don't want to do that. That's too heavy. We'll have to do the smelling farts thing later in the week. We will do a story about how smelling your farts is apparently a way to make you smarter. Some of us have been preaching that shit for years. Shit, no pun intended. Oh, here's a video about. Nah, we don't need to do that. All right, here we go. Let's talk NFL football. Cowboys suck. What the fuck, man? Seriously. I don't know what to make of the Cowboys. And that's my coverage of the Cowboys. Now let's talk about the Chicago Bears. No, I'm kidding. I won't bore you with that. Kelly method of picking football games didn't do so great yesterday. We had a bad weekend. Remember I told you the weekend before was a bad weekend? I think we went 9-7. We were 2 over 500. Let's see. Let's do the math here. Let's see if we need, how desperately do we need tonight's game? Who's playing tonight? Dolphins, Steelers. We need the Steelers to win. How desperately do we need the Steelers to win? All right, let's go through it real quick. Game 1 was Falcons, Buccaneers. We lost that one because we thought that a Buccaneer, a pirate, could probably kill a bird. Falcons won. We're 0-1 for the week. Then we went Ravens, Bengals. That's cartoon logic. That's cat versus bird. The Bengals should have won that one. Nope. Ravens won 24-0. We're down 0-2 with the Kelly method. Game 3 was Raiders and Eagles. I went and took the Raiders because, again, it's a pirate versus a bird, not unlike Falcons, Buccaneers. And guess what? That logic cost me again. Eagles won 31-0. So now we're 0-3, man. We are in the fucking. We need to go on a run here. Cardinals at Texans. We took the Texans. Now, a Texan is just a guy with a Texas address. It's not any more specific than that. It's just a Texan, so it's just a human versus a little red bird. We took the Texans and we won. All right, so that's good. So we are 1 win and 3 losses. We're 1-3. Chargers, Chiefs. We took the Chargers because a bolt of lightning could probably take out an Indian chief. So now we're 3-2. Woo, we're creeping. Or no, now we're 2-3. We're creeping into it. Bills and Patriots. I said the Patriots should have won, but they didn't. The Bills beat them. A guy named Bill, or Buffalo Bill Cody, the theater guy, whatever. So there's another loss. So now where are we? We got 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss, 2 wins and 4 losses. 2-4. 2-4 after the Bills-Patriots game. The Kelly method is 2-4. Not great. Jaguars, Jets. We won that one. So now we're 3-4. We said that a Jaguar could beat a Jet because if a Jet is playing a Jaguar, it's crashed in the Amazon. And the Jaguars will just eat all the people inside. All right, so now what are we? Hold on. I'm trying to do this in my head. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1-3. 2-3. 2-4. 3-4. All right, that brings us to 3-4. We are 3 correct, 4 incorrect. Washington, the Commanders at the Giants. I said that the Giant was going to be able to take George Washington, was basically what the Commander is. So that's another loss. So 3-4. So now we are 3-5. Okay, getting away from us here. That's okay. Here's another win. Bears over Browns. We said the Bears would win. The Bears did. So now what are we now? You know what? I can't do. I'm like so lost. And I'm not even looking at the chat room. I'm sure some of you in the chat room are helping me out, but I'm so lost. All right, so loss, win. It's 1 and 3. That's 2 and 3. That's 2 and 4. That's 3 and 4. That's 3 and 5. That's 4 and 5. All right, we're at 4 and 5. 4 and 5. Panthers Saints. I said that a Panther would win. That's wrong. So now we're 3 and 6. Panthers lost to the Saints. I figured a Panther would just eat a Saint, and the Saint just wants to die so that they can become a Saint. All right, once again, hold on. This is the worst. All right, I swear to God, why do I keep losing track in my head? Because I'm old. All right. 0 and 1, 0 and 2, 0 and 3, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 5, 4 and 5, 5 and 5. Oh, no. 4 and 6. Oh, no. 4 and 6. That's right. The Panthers say, 4 and 6. Saints beat the Panthers. All right, 4 and 6. Lions, Rams. 4 and 7. I thought that a lion would be able to eat a mountain goat. Whatever. 4 and 7. Colts, Seahawks. Had the Seahawks. That's 5 and 7. Packers, Broncos. Had the Broncos. That's 6 and 7. Titans, 49ers. Oh, Jesus, that's 6 and 8. All right, 6 and 8. Fuck. Had the Cowboys over the Vikings. That's 6 and 9. Yeah, no, we're gonna have a losing record for the first time in this season. I know we've had losing records before, but holy shit. All right, so if the Steelers defeat the Dolphins tonight on Monday Night Football, the Kelly method will be 1 game under 500 for the week. All right, that's it. We don't need to do any more. There's a whole bunch of shit that screwed up Kelly's pick. There's sometimes, you know going in with Kelly's picks, you're just going to take a loss sometimes because there are teams that are sometimes good that, rarely get an advantage because their name is not descriptive enough. Oh, great. Hold on. I love it when my good friends call while I'm on the air. Okay. Sorry. I don't want to I want to let that ring through. I don't want it to go straight to. There you go. All right. Sorry about the interruption. Yeah, all my good friends who totally support me. None of them listen to this show. Tomorrow we're gonna have a nice show, unless something really horrible happens and it gets me all ratcheted up again. We'll have a nice show tomorrow. We're gonna do a silly show. We'll have a fun show. Because I don't know if these angry shows are good for business. You know what I mean? I don't know. And again, over the coming days, I'm going to try and do more night shows. I'm going to try and figure out a way to be able to be here. And I would really love, especially for the next couple of weeks, to be able to do breaking news. Man, it really bummed me out when the Brown University shooting happened on Saturday. I'm like, I need to be streaming right now. And then when the Rob Reiner thing went, I'm like, I need to be streaming right now. There were only 2 people streaming the Rob Reiner thing. You had Lookner over at Agenda. He was on it, but I'd have been on it before him. I would have been streaming before Lookner. That would have made me proud. And then there was some other guy who was doing it. And I'm like, look at him doing it. He's not Lookner. He's not me. He's just another. And they both had thousands of viewers. So, just being there, that's kind of how we grow this thing. Just being a source when something is breaking for people to find out the latest. That's a good way to grow. It's a good way to promote a daily talk show too. So, it's cold. That's the other thing, guys. Do you guys have any idea how fucking cold it is up here? I don't know if anybody none of my Texas friends know what I'm talking about here because none of you got to watch the Chicago Bears Cleveland Browns game yesterday because I think it was pretty much just a regional game. Last regional game of the year for the Bears, though. Every other game for the Bears from now until they call it a season. It's going to be on national TV. Anyway, if you were watching, it was one of them cold games. You know how the it's the coldest game in Soldier Field history. It wasn't. They were saying that it might be, but then when it came to the game, it wasn't anywhere near the coldest it's ever been at Soldier Field. But it was certainly one of. So they started saying one of the coldest. I'm like, yeah, but the coldest was like 25 degrees colder. I mean, and how do I mean? I mean, it was zero. It was zero. I think game time it was -2 degrees with a wind chill factor of like -20 or something. But I believe there was a Bears-Rams game on a Monday night where the wind chill factor was -50. I think that's the record from a couple of years ago. I remember watching that Monday night Bears. I think that was the Matt Nagy Bears when the Rams were really good and Matt Nagy was in his rookie year and Bears made the playoffs. Anyway, that was that game. Bears won that game, by the way, Monday Night Football. I think the Rams won the Super Bowl that year. Anyway, point is this. Probably not. My point is this. It turned out not to be as cold, but I mean, look at what we're talking about here. It wasn't as cold as it's ever been. It was -2 degrees and 20 degrees below zero wind chill factor. No, it wasn't as cold as it's ever been, but that's fucking crazy cold. That's your skin has to be covered or within 30 minutes you have to go to the emergency room because you have frostbite. That's really bad cold. But it's like the difference in Texas between a day that's 115 and a day that's 105. The day that's 105 is like, fuck, this sucks. But it gets worse. It's been worse. So that was the Bears game on Sunday. It was interesting to watch because of those conditions. Those are always interesting. The Bears practiced outdoor all last week, and it was cold last week. So Ben Johnson was like, no, you guys are going to get used to this. I don't know if Cleveland practiced indoors. It gets cold in Cleveland. I don't know if they were preparing for the outdoor game at Soldier Field on Sunday, but they looked freezing, and the Bears looked good. And maybe that's the difference between a team that's going to the playoffs and the team that's going to be picking in the top 2 of the draft. We'll see. I will say this about the game yesterday, and nobody cares, I know, but I will say this about the game. Excuse me. Sorry, I got like a tickle in my throat. It means it's time for me to be done when my throat starts to go. But one of the things about the Bears game yesterday I thought was really, really fascinating to me was that, my Chicago Bears, but just let me fucking have this. Don't be an asshole about it. Just let me have it. We've been through a lot and we're fucking good, right? Earlier, like 4 weeks ago, I'd be like, dude, we don't know if we're good, but we're winning and we're okay. No, we're past that. We're good. We're good. The Chicago Bears are a fucking good football team. One of the best football teams in the league. I'm ready to say that with full conviction. Don't know that they're the best. Don't know that this is our season. Don't know that we'll get past the first or second round of the playoffs. But I'll tell you, we belong. We're not a joke anymore. Don't fucking think you can just roll in and take us. You can't. It's a different thing, and that's good. And it builds nice and for the future. And we're excited. We're on house money this year. Just let us Bears fans have this. It's been terrible. It has. We've been a joke. It's hard. And we're not anymore. And when we watched it happen before our eyes, we saw the process. We saw the promises paid off. It's good. It can happen. Most of us are fans of teams where we get promises and rebuilds and all that, and it never happens. We can't all be the Texas Rangers from a couple of years ago. That was a payoff. Well, this is another payoff. It looks like we've got a payoff. It looks like we're on the right path. Looks like we've got our quarterback. Looks like we've got our coach. It looks like we've got our defensive coordinator too, because that's always something that you worry about. You worry that, well, as soon as our defense is good, he's just going to leave to become a head coach. But ain't nobody giving Dennis Allen a third chance at head coach. So I'm pretty sure we got Dennis Allen locked up as our defensive coordinator for a while. But they did something that I didn't expect yesterday. We're the number 1 running team in football. Well, Eric Bieniemy, when he came over from Eric Bieniemy, I don't know why he's not a head coach. We're going to lose him. Eric Bieniemy, you look at the string of running backs from like the 5th, 6th, and 7th round that Kansas City has had, that Eric Bieniemy, as their running backs coach, has turned into all pros or very rich young men. And most recently, you just pointed Isaiah Pacheco. Actually, I don't even know that that's most recently. It's incredible. Eric Bieniemy, Isaiah Pacheco out of Rutgers University. Eric Bieniemy turned him into like 5th, 6th, 7th round. Where did Pacheco come from? I don't know. Out of Rutgers. Who cares? They play in the Big Ten. Yeah, but not really. It's Rutgers Big Ten. It ain't fucking Ohio State Big Ten, but Eric Bieniemy was able to turn Isaiah Pacheco into one of the best running backs in football. So then now, well, look at him. He jumps away from the Chiefs. Now he's the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears. And what does he do? In the 7th round, he drafts another running back out of Rutgers, Kyle Monangai, an afterthought. Who? How do you even say his name? Kyle Monangai is one of the best running backs in the NFL this season because Eric Bieniemy. Coaching matters, man. Coaching matters. It really does. Anyway, we expected yesterday, because it was 0 degrees, we expected that this was just going to be a good day for the Bears to do that thing that they do better than anyone else in the NFL, which is just run it down their fucking throats between the tackles. Let's just get our big, giant, best offensive line in football and just move that defense. Let's just bully them the way we bullied the unbullyable defending Super Bowl champion Eagles defense. Bears offensive line just beat the fuck out of them. Well, guess who else has one of the great defensive lines in football? The Cleveland Browns. So we're thinking, are we going to be able to bully them too? Okay, let's do it. Let's bully them. Let's go between the tackles. Let's run for fucking 500 yards on the ground. Let's go nuts. They didn't do that. Bears took the field yesterday and they let Caleb deal. He was slinging it. They were running around. It's cold. Nobody wants to play that kind of football when it's cold. They want to play smash mouth, huddle up, stay warm. They don't, So that was interesting. That was fun. A couple plays. Look, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you people don't want it. You can leave, but I'm going to just let me have this. First of all, let me show you a couple of plays. I know that you've all seen that fucking Caleb Williams to DJ Moore throw that absolutely nobody else in the NFL could make. Maybe Patrick Mahomes. But watch this. This is the weirdest play. There was a play where Caleb Williams threw the ball to DJ Moore in the end zone, and I saw with my own eyes it get intercepted. I saw it get intercepted. He threw it right into a crowd of guys. There were 3 Browns and 1 Bear. It got intercepted. Fuck, Caleb, what are you doing? Oh, it wasn't intercepted. When the dust settled, it turned out that he put the fucking ball right in the only place that it could go. And DJ Moore made this incredible catch. So there was a situation where on offense, we threw an interception that turned out to not actually be an interception, but it turned out to be a touchdown for us. All right, we'll take it. Then there was this play, which was a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns that turned out to be, in fact, an interception for us. Watch this play. This is when things are not going right for you. This is what it looks like. Here we go. Jalen Johnson, check this out.
This is a great play by Jalen Johnson. This is another well-fitted ball in there. A little bit of back shoulder, but Jerry Jeudy is not
caught
able to squeeze it in. You can see it drop.
No, he didn't.
In the hands of Jalen Johnson.
Jesus. Oh, look at that. Anyway, yeah, it was a wild game yesterday for us Bear fans. It was we had a touchdown that we thought we saw it intercepted, and it turned wait, it wasn't intercepted? Wait, that's a touchdown? We had that experience. And then we had this one where we watched Shedeur Sanders throw an absolute dime ball into the end zone, and we're like, well, fuck, the kid's got a nice wait, that was intercepted? What? It was crazy. It's a weird game. Cold as hell. But not as cold as it has been. So don't let anybody tell you. It was cold. It was cold, but it wasn't that bad. Gosh, Jesus. I was watching the local pregame stuff. All these people in the tailgating there in the lot in the parking lot at Soldier Field. It's below 0. What are you people doing? What we do for football. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. It's when we were done a half hour ago. You just indulged me here and let me talk about my Bears a little bit, which I appreciate. Don't forget, you can tip this show. You can support the show in any number of ways. If you like talk radio, that doesn't give a shit how you voted. If you like talk radio that isn't hosted by a leftard or a MAGA weirdo, you just like a regular dude. It's going to tell you like it is as far as I see it. By the way, you know what I've always thought? You remember that compliment? They used to give people that compliment. I like him. He's a tell it like it is guy. You know that's not a compliment. That's like I've over my lifetime, I've realized that a tell it like it is guy is a guy who just runs his mouth without any facts. The tell it like it is guy is the guy who says stupid shit to other stupid people. Anyway, that's who I am. But that's not who you are. You are not stupid people, unless, you want to be that. What was I saying? I completely lost my track of that. This is what a stream of consciousness does. You say shit and then you forget where you are. Anyway, all right, we're done. Supporting the show. Support the show monetarily. We really appreciate that, and we really need your help. So help out if you can. But if you can't economically, man, look, if you can't drop a we get that. I've always understood that, but I understand it now more than ever. The economy is terrible. Shit sucks. Like, follow, retweet, everything from me. Everything from me, even if it's not necessarily about this show, it will help the algorithm for me. So if you follow me, Pugs & Co on Twitter, and I just look, if it's something provocative, like there's shit that if there's something you don't want to be associated with, I get that. But if it's just something, regular, just please like, follow, and then like it, retweet it, whatever. And this goes for Facebook. This goes for Twitter. It goes for everything. It helps the algorithm. It helps grow the show. It helps make us more visible. And short of that, money. Money works. Money works great. We would appreciate that. All right. We'll see you back here tomorrow, okay? All right. I would say stay warm, but I know most of you are in Texas where that's really not a problem. So what is the current temperature? Let's see what the current temperature is. Current temperature. Oh, this is nothing. Oh, we're out of it. We're out of it. All right, there you go. That's good. We're out of it. It's 22. That's good. That's balmy. We can handle 22. 22 is easy. It's the -2 that we don't like. It's hell, for 22 degrees, I don't even have to run out and start my car every couple of hours. That's something I had to do this weekend. Saturday night at like 8 o'clock, I'm sitting in a freezing driveway. I'm letting my car warm up. Got to do that. You got to do that when it gets this cold. They say that your gas lines will freeze. I've never experienced that in all of my years driving up here in the Great Lake Midwest region of America where it gets really cold. I have never heard of anyone's gas lines freezing, and yet we still all make sure we run our car every couple of hours when it goes below 0. That's us, programmed to do what the man tells us. All right, guys, that's it. I love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Tip the show if you can. If not, we're still good. Love you. Bye.